What is going on, everybody? We are live with Primetime MMA 40. We have a stacked night of fights ahead of us. FSK Fanator, current champion, been dominating for quite some time now. Coming up against the pound-for-pound GOAT of the last season in EK Trixie. I am your host, Cyrus the Looney. In the booth this evening is going to be TMF's very own Dale Denton and KIA's very own Mr. Humbledink. How are you doing, my guys?
Hey, good to have us. Hey, thanks a lot, Cyrus.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this card. It's going to be absolutely incredible. The Xbox Championship is on the line, and that is going to be a hell of a fight. And all the way through the card, Cyrus, we just have absolute bangers from start to finish.
Yes, it is an incredible card that we have ahead of us. It's one of the longer cards that we've done in a little while, but it needed to be. A lot of these guys are getting their names out there. They're putting together some fantastic performances and, you know, earning their spots on these 8 cards. And obviously now we have the previous champion, like I said, coming back and fighting the current champion. That fight is obviously the main event for a reason. Champion is there. They are both incredible competitors, but like you said, going down the card as a whole, LW Kobe up against Spooky G. These guys have both stood out quite a lot recently on the PlayStation side of things. They're humble. Kobe, a previous Xbox player, laying out those hands, and Spooky G just seems to really be able to have answers everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. Kobe's one of my favorite players to watch, but A55 Spooky, he's currently coming in on, I think it's a 3-1 record, so he's doing really well. The only person he's been beat by so far was Skitch, who's also performing tonight on the prelims against Matrix. So that's how good our card is tonight. We've got somebody on the he's fighting another A55 guy as well, so you could call Skitch the A55 killer after this one. But Spooky G being one of the best ground artists on PlayStation, it's just if he can get his mind right and actually perform tonight. But that's going to be a banger of a fight right there. Yeah,
fantastic. And obviously, Dale, as you see, just prior to that card, that fight, I should say, FSK Optics up against FSK Keza. 2 teammates going out there. Optics recently joining that camp, but 2 really, really high-level strikers. I imagine that's going to be one hell of a war.
Yeah, we don't get to see that very often. And I was just taking a look at the card, and a lot of camps are being represented tonight, and a lot of names that are going to move up in the ranks.
Yes, sir. Just want to take a quick moment to give a shout out to the legend himself, TM Prezi. Man's come through with a raid. Hope you had a great stream. Always, you always do. If you are obviously a Primetime MMA fan, make sure to follow Prezi if you're not already. I'm sure you guys are, but click on that guy's name, give him a follow, show some love, guys. As we move into the very first fight of the evening, we're going to have KB King up against Goals on the Xbox side of things. Goals is an incredible grappler. Really does like to push the pace in that regard, mix it up, try to use his boxing, kind of box to shoot sort of style, but opposite him, Kickboxing King, the name suggests it, Humble. This guy's looking to keep it on the feet and utilize some of his striking.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of watching KB King in other leagues as well, and tonight he's coming in on a 1-0 record against TP Goals, who currently is coming at 1-2. So he's lost his first fight, and so he lost his last two fights, but he's won one. So Goals looking to get the redemption back here and try and get back to 2-2 on a record wise. KB King looking to go out in the lead with a 2-0 record, Dale.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Cyrus was pushing on a few minutes ago, got to watch that takedown, and he's got to utilize the stand-up game. Watch the takedown. Can't end up on his back in this fight.
No, definitely not. Goals, once he gets you down, it's really hard to work your way back to the feet in a lot of cases. I had the pleasure or the unfortunate kind of circumstances where I fought him early on in Season 1, and I witnessed it firsthand, man. This man does not get dissuaded when you deny a couple of takedowns. He mixes it together very well, whether he turns the takedowns, just drives them through the clinch attempts and so on. But obviously with the pick like Peter Yan, he has the trip available as well. I think you pointed out quite a few times there, Humble. That trip is really nice and quick. A lot of people struggle to stop it, and with somebody like Goals, that's just going to really add another level to his overall repertoire here.
Yeah, 100%. That Peter Yan pick right there. And it's going to be interesting to see who takes the center of the octagon right now. And so far, TJ Dillashaw and KB King has got that center of the octagon so important. But there's the trip, just like you said, Cyrus.
Yeah, kind of expecting it, Dale. I mean, like I said, when Goals has his mindset on wrestling a man, it's really hard to stop it. And he mixes up the ground and pound and the submission attacks very well. It's tough to really get too much going underneath this guy, and as you see right there, he gets a couple of nice denies off as he works this GMP.
And he came in with some nice hands up top. Like, he came in with nice hands, makes you think, oh, I'm gonna box, and then all of a sudden that beautiful trip.
Yeah,
perfectly done right there. Now he's hammering away in that back mount position. He's going to try and get him down here. He has. He's flattened him out, and now he's going to try and get him down again with some big ground and pound. Manages to get back to his knees, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, he's continued to do this over and over again. Right now, KB King doesn't seem to be able to stop it at all. The defense, in terms of stopping that transition, doesn't seem to be there, but nice for him. He does manage to regain half guard and see if he's able to get to a more defensive position. But as you see, as we called, Dale, Goals just instantly working back towards a pretty dominant position and looking for that ground and pound to add up over the next 2.5 minutes.
This is where he loves to work, and he's doing a great job right now. He's keeping him on his back, and he's doing him some damage. Like, this is a tough spot to be with this tough a guy on top of you.
Yeah, 100% as well. But you've got TJ Dillashaw. He has got some tricky some submissions and stuff off his back, so you've got to be wary of that as well. But KB King not wanting any of that at the moment. He wants to try and get back to his feet. And it is deceptive, Cyrus, when you think you're going to be fighting a Peter Yan. You think he's coming forward with some strikes, and he immediately trips you and takes you down and starts dominating you on the ground. That's got to put your confidence back.
Yeah, no, it can be a killer, brother. It can be a killer. It's obviously not where you want to be. You've got a name like Kickboxing King as well. Obviously, this man wants to really showcase his striking, and something I found in the past, and I'm sure you've kind of experienced it yourself, Humble and Dale, when somebody is taking you down on repeat, almost at will, when you do manage to work your self back to your feet, whether it be just like this, you're going to really push the action in a lot of cases and walk onto some big shots, and that's what Goals is kind of resting on, is just like that, kind of a little bit too much reckless abandon walking forward, and
he catches him. Goals pressing the action now. He's got him against the fence. He's going to knock him down. Can he finish the fight?
Bro, this is a comeback, Dale. If anybody knows about comebacks, it's you, brother. He is sticking true to his game plan and getting some good hands off now.
Yeah, he spent most of the round on his back, getting dominated, and now here's his chance to get a return shot.
Pushing the action now. It's all about that center of the octagon, and currently KB King has got the center of the octagon. He's caught him again. Goes back, knocks him down. Finish the fight. Can he finish it? He's going to go for it now.
He's taken that round. What a fantastic turnaround at the end. We were talking all round, guys, all round at how how difficult it was going to be for him to get anything going. If the frustration was settling in after a long time on the mat with goals working, but when he got himself back to his feet, I mean, just an excellent job of weathering that storm, pouring it on when he needed to, and he puts him in a really nice spot going into this next second round there, Humble.
Yeah, it definitely does, and when a fight starts off like that for us as commentators, this is why we love to do what we do, because that was an amazing round from both competitors, and this one's going to be interesting to see who takes it. Look at that reversal straight away there, Dale, and he's got a really good start for the round for KB King.
He needed to deny that. That's going to boost his confidence. It's going to give him another opportunity to lay these hands on him.
Yeah, absolutely right, and it just sets him up to do his work just like this. Humble sits him down and trying to work the ground and pound to get the finish. I mean, Jan's a durable guy though, brother. He's hard to get out of it, but KB King really pushing the pace and trying all he can to finish the fight.
Gets him in the side control now. He needs to keep him here. If he doesn't keep him here, he's in trouble. He needs to land some positive ground and pound in this one, some damaging, so he can go right. Oh, he is as well. He's got his damage. Just as we said it.
I mean, goals.
Like you said, he needed to lay off that damage right there. This is his game. This is where he wanted to be. This is where he's finished it off.
In trouble.
This is where his bread is buttered. I mean, like we were calling from even before the fight, goals when he hits the mat. He works that ground and pound so well, and he reads the fight incredibly well as well. He obviously knew he was damaged. He knew he was behind from the first and the second round. So when it hit the mat, he turned up that action, Humble, and really, really pushed the pace to try and get some heavy ground and pound off while he had his opportunities on that mat.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm like what I'm seeing from goals now, but I'm not like what I'm seeing from KB King. He is being way too obvious. It does help him out there though, because he gets up eventually. But when he gets to that ground, he's at the point where he's nearly getting finished because of it. So he needs to just be patient and think, I've won most of the round. If he's going to call me, just make sure he doesn't do any damage. And at the moment, he's not getting finished on the ground, so he needs to be careful. But now back up to the feet, Dale.
Yeah, this is where it's going to be a whole different game.
Now, the one thing is, interesting to notice, of course, we cannot see Kickboxing King's, overall health or stamina at this stage, so he may be in a fairly good position, or it could be pretty dire. He continues to stop that takedown once again there, Humble, and the more he does that, the more he's going to be oozing with confidence. That's probably going to push him forward to some nice work on the feet.
He is, and I think that Goals has got to kind of change his strategy as well. You've got a dominant striker right there. He gets dropped though, and this is going to be it. If you can get him into mount right now,
this is tough, brother. This is tough. He only gets the one shot up, so stamina's probably a little bit of an issue at this stage in the bout, but he is getting a lot of damage off, and it's not going to take too many to connect to close out the fight, Dale. He's doing a great job of pouring on the pressure once again.
Yeah, gonna have to be careful with those shots. You gotta watch out for those reversals when you're tired at that point. You're doing the ground and pound. But here he is on his feet. Huge success and a big drop.
This has got to be at 16 seconds on the clock. The health is dire.
Hangs on by.
He survived.
Ring. Gets back to his feet. Wow. What can we say about that round? That is what a crazy. It's so interesting to see how the defense for one is not the best on the ground, and the other's ground game is incredible, so they need to get finishes. And then it's the same on the feet, the opposite way around. I feel like Goals has got Peter Yan. He needs to push forward. I know his head health's bad now, but he's not using his jab. He's not throwing something out there for TJ to go, all right, I'm not going to get in your face and try and hunt your head off, knock your head off.
Yeah, Goals tends not to favor the fight staying on the feet. Just like that, bro. I mean, KB King is all over it timing-wise, and that's the end of the fight. What a finish after a rocky start. I mean, Dale, you've got to be impressed with what he was able to do, coming back after 3.5 minutes of bottom, top control from Goals, and obviously the ground and pound he was able to get off. To be able to stick it through that, stay composed, and push forward for that victory is it's an impressive feat for KB King.
Wow, it really looked like he was going to get dominated after watching that first couple minutes of that fight, watching him on his back and the ground control. Wow, once he got on the feet, he turned that fight right around. That was incredible to see.
And KB King goes 2 and oh, well played. That was an incredible performance, as you were saying, Dale, right there. Just my biggest concern for KB King going forward is that ground game and stopping that having a defense for that ground and pound, because he was nearly finished a few times in there, and his striking got him out of trouble, but I believe he needs to do some work on that and just stopping people from minimizing the damage that they land, but maybe he wouldn't have got back to his feet. So it's a catch-22 really.
Yeah, definitely so, brother, definitely so. Well, that does, however, take us on to the very next bout of the evening. We are going to be having TMF's very own Machine Gun, aka F. Mahon. He is going to be taking on King Amazon in the welterweight division. Appears we're having a Conor McGregor up against Jorge Masvidal matchup. One little thing to, that was pretty interesting that I noted going into this bout. I don't know if you saw it yourself, Humble or Dale, but Machine Gun, the 3-star fighter, always goes to those 3-star picks. He said in the chat earlier on today that he's done with the 3-star picks. He needs to step it up. He needs to win this fight, and that's interesting.
Time to put your foot on the gas. That's what's happening right there. He's decided that it is fun. It is fun to play this game. It is fun to play in these leagues, but you want to be taken seriously. You don't want to be taken as a joke. And every time you pick 3-star fighters, you're going to be at a disadvantage, especially when people are picking the best characters they can. And when you're fighting people at this level, it's a matter of inches in everything you throw.
Oh, yeah, couldn't agree more. Dale, I mean, especially with somebody like Machine Gun, he's a teammate of yours. He used to be on Xbox. You know that when this man's, obviously focused, he's a bit of a different beast to the kind of taunting 3-star fighter that we've seen as of recent.
Yeah, he loves the taunting, and I like this. I like that he's pushing himself. I like that he's taking the less starred fighters, less popular fighters, and really coming out with it. It's more about him pushing himself to kind of prove to himself that he can fight with some really good fighters against really good fighters with less qualified fighters.
Yeah, definitely so. And, obviously there comes a time where that is something that you can no longer do. And I think that's what Machine Gun was, kind of pointing towards earlier on this evening. That's probably why we're seeing a Conor McGregor pick in this welterweight division. Obviously it's welterweight Conor, so still not the best pick in that weight, but nevertheless, he's going to make it work, especially against somebody like Jorge. I think it's a pretty decent pick. That left hand really can translate through any weight class over there, Humble, if he's able to connect with it.
Yeah, and it's going to be Southpaw versus Southpaw as well, which is quite interesting. I always like to fight Southpaw versus Orthodox if I'm in the Southpaw usually. I never like to fight somebody in Southpaw coming back just because it's a bit different, the footwork's different, everything's kind of just a slight bit different. But he's going to be suffering from a bit of reach disadvantage here, so that might come into effect. And Jorge as well is so dangerous. You're going to watch out for them 5-star flying knees at any point. But this is going to be a great fight. Machine Gun coming at 1 win, 2 losses. So he needs to, like you say, put his foot on the gas. He needs to make sure he wins this fight, and he's going to try and do that right now.
Yeah,
when that 5-star flying knee it lands hard.
If anybody would know, it would be you, Dale. The flying Denton has been witnessed on many occasions, but Machine Gun's looking to work the outside a little bit, but I'm getting a little bit concerned for him in regards to the way that Amazon's been able to tag on the inside just like that, and especially anytime he's looked to throw a kick, that Amazon seems to have the answer with some nice short shots there, Dale.
Yeah, he's trying to come in and out. He's trying to come in and out and land some shots, but yeah, he's taking some body damage when he's trying to come in like that. He's got to maybe do some other thing to try to step this up.
Stops the takedown right there, though. He's going to try and land some damage off right here. He sees no weakness. King Amazon staying on the outside. He likes to use his movement at the moment, and Conor McGregor kind of pressing the action. That can be kind of dangerous, though, staying on the outside, because against the Conor McGregor, he's going to hit your guard every time he gets in there, Cyrus.
Yeah, completely agree with you. However, Machine Gun is being incredibly active and, more like the bull in this sort of fight. He's definitely leading it, walking forward, trying to be more aggressive than Jorge. And we'll have to see. I mean, right now, King Amazon's doing a fantastic job of timing him just like that with the flying knee you were calling earlier, Humble. Beautifully landed, and Puts him in. Oh, shit!
Oh my God, he's got him back. He's going to try and finish him. Goes with a head kick. Push kick to the face and a spear from Masvidal. What a fight.
Lovely, lovely work.
Trying to use it all right there to finish it. You can see that stamina flashing. He's got to be careful on what he's throwing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little combination right there. And I'm just really liking how Machine Gun was putting his combinations together, but mainly controlling the distance between the fight with the jab. Doctor always talks about the jab, and it's really important. All the best fighters in the world, they really utilize their jab in every fight, and that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, it completely sets up everything in your game. An educated jab allows you to measure that distance, as we've spoken about before, and really just get into the flow as you approach what combinations and, you know, what sort of timings you should be using against your opponent. Right now, I'm really liking the defense from Masvidal, but I will say that McGregor's, interestingly enough, Humble, he's coming out the better in terms of stamina, which is surprising considering it's a McGregor pick.
He's making Masvidal and King Amazon miss quite a bit as well. Every time you go in, if you watch him, sometimes he'll stutter step and he'll start faking a few times before he throws. And what that's doing is freezing up King Amazon. King Amazon doesn't know when to throw because of them little fakes that he keeps doing, and that allows Machine Gun to pick the timing of when he wants to throw. Like it's letting him know, he's giving him some signs to say you can throw now, and then bam, bam, bam. Beautiful work.
Machine Gun blocking a lot more of the body shots that last couple minutes and returning shots on his own.
Yeah, I was liking what I was seeing from both guys, but the biggest damage, of course, coming, I think, the way of Masvidal with that massive flying knee. Hard to look away for something like that, and you know, it was an impressive amount of timing that he was utilizing throughout that entire kind of round there, Humble. Just the ability to kind of catch obviously his opponent Machine Gun as he was entering. We've seen Machine Gun use lower fighters in the past though, and you know, kind of rise to the occasion. So hopefully he didn't get a little bit too overconfident with McGregor, and he's able to rein it in going into this the rest of this fight and make those necessary adjustments. Yeah,
especially when it's still so close with the head damage and the stamina, because if I'm King Amazon, I'm coming out with a different game plan. I'm going to try and throw some body shots. And whoever sent me a message there, you suck, but never do that.
Oh, there he is!
Big shots.
He had to get back into the previous mentality, Dale, go into the tone to get his, you know, psyche back in there, and now he's causing a lot of damage, man.
This is what he likes to do. He likes to make it into a fight.
Oh, beautiful. Sorry, Dale. Beautiful work right there. Pushing him back, though. Masvidal still on the outside. I think that King Amazon has got to start using his own jab, right, Dale?
May have lost Dale for a moment, but no, look at the back and forth rocks from both of these guys. The stamina's getting low, not a lot in it. They're Humble. I mean, the simple fact that they're continuing this sort of pace shows that they want to get this fight over sooner rather than later, but the mix-up from King Amazon could be a big adjustment in this fight for him.
Yeah, he's got to watch out for the stamina though. Like when you grapple him with a striker like Masvidal, and your stamina's already low, you don't want to be getting denied a lot because your stamina's going to drop a bit more, even against the McGregor. And Machine Gun's making some good denials at the moment, but King Amazon getting one back for himself there, Cyrus.
Yeah, doing a nice job. Now he goes for the Anaconda. McGregor's stamina is very, very low, but I mean, obviously Machine Gun is a pretty savvy veteran. He's not really going to be tapped out too easily, and did a good job of just instantly making him abandon on that. Obviously, he's still got Masvidal stuck to him, which is never great, especially when he takes you straight back down, Humble, and looks to continue to work his game, but woo!
Conor McGregor with some oil on his back right there, just slipping out, turning it around, but you know, that sweat must have helped him. But yeah, he clearly doesn't want to be on the ground with him right there, Machine Gun. It's obvious. I would have liked to see Masvidal going for some damage right there, because now he's on the feet. Look at this. He's getting rocked backwards and forwards. His timing's off. Machine going for the spectacular. He's got to be careful he doesn't get ducked on one of those head kicks, Cyrus.
Yeah, he is locking the pressure of the two fighters. So if he's able to keep this simple, as you were alluding to a moment ago, he could pretty easily run away with the fight. But a lot of these feints and big shots gets him the rock. And now he goes absolutely balls to the wall, looking for the finish once again. That stamina is very problematic, though. Going to be tough to close out the show there, Humble.
Oh, nearly got caught with flying knee there, but knew it was coming this time. Now he's got the stamina advantage. Now he's got the health advantage. He just needs to keep the pressure on right now, and he's going to get the finish over King Amazon. But King Amazon doing a good job of staying patient, trying to land his shot. but his combinations just don't look like they're coming at the speed of McGregor's at the moment, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, he's having a tough time. Nice little clinch attempt. Flying knee from... Oh, the body rocks! The taunts. He could have maybe... Not the finish. In fact, I was going to say he could have got the finish there, but he couldn't have. He pushed that nicely, I have to say. Nice timing. Good opportunity to get into his opponent's mind. And, yeah. He's kind of turning this fight around now, Humble. He really is.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's been an absolute tremendous fight so far. These guys have been going backwards and forwards, but Machine Gun has been landing some incredible strikes, and at the moment he's not able to get him off him, and he's not able to stop him from coming forward and hurting him every single time. But yeah, we're going to move into the next... Sorry, Cyrus.
No, I like what I'm seeing, man. I like what I'm seeing from both guys, to be honest with you. Like I said, Amazon was had a nice approach and game plan to this fight. I think that obviously we're seeing Machine Gun make the necessary adjustments at this stage, but you know, obviously it's all about what King Amazon's able to glean from that second round going into this next one. Hopefully he's able to put something together and answer the call, so to speak, because right now Machine Gun's building that momentum.
He's got to be careful, look, because he's throwing a lot of shots with his stamina being so low. If he's throwing a 3-piece or a 4-piece, it's only going to take him to miss the first couple of strikes and get countered on the third or fourth for him to be in some serious trouble. But beautiful slip counter right there. Goes to the body with the uppercut. Drops Masvidal to the floor. He's doing the crunchies. He's going to try and get him back right now. But no, Masvidal catches him. Just like I said. Oh,
bro, that's craziness, and his health is so little at the moment that he survives once again. I don't know how, Humble, but the action in this fight has been absolutely sensational. The primetime guarantee always holds up. I like what he's doing, man. He's got that body so compromised, Humble, that that anytime he wants, he can go up top, and a lot of the time, the hands find the mark.
Yeah, I love fighting Machine Gun every single time. Like, just like you said, switching it from high to low. He's just doing a good job of giving him a lot of different looks. He's throwing the uppercut, he's throwing the front kick, he's throwing the left hook, he's controlling the fight with his jab, he's then throwing some random kicks. He's making you slip to the side, he's making you duck. He's controlling the action at the moment. He's making his opponent dance to his rhythm, and that's why he's having so much success. But again, he needs to be careful. Stamina management is such a big thing at this level, and King Amazon is so clever at the moment. He's doing the right thing of backing up, trying to catch a pull counter, or trying to catch something. So Machine Gun's just got to be careful, except he's winning, and cruise away with this fight.
All that happens! All that happens there! I mean, fucking commiserations. Commiserations to him. I cannot believe the success he was having, but like you said, he just kind of was pushing the action, which is in his nature, trying to look for that finish. Low stamina, high vulnerability. The uppercut sends him to hell, Humble.
Yeah, I just called it, and I was like thinking to myself, just back up, you know, like, you're winning the fight comfortably. You've had such a success rate throughout, but you know as well, and so should Machine Gun, that when you're pressing the action with no stamina and throwing 3 or 4 pieces, if you get caught between your 3 or 4 piece, it's going to be devastating. And what he should have realized is his opponent was starting to throw 1 or 2 strikes and not 3 or 4, so his opponent was going to catch him throughout. So it was a great work, such a great performance, Machine Gun, and I feel so sorry for him at the moment, because I feel like he was dominating that fight.
Yeah, he really took over after the early kind of storm that Masvidal, you know, the kind of game plan that he had. Once he was able to get those reads, took over that bout. But as we were saying, you know, that pressure got him in trouble, right? His style of just going forward, looking for that finish at all times, it can cause him a lot of problems, you know, when you get into a match like that. Obviously, his opponent, like you said, made the adjustments. He had no stamina. He, you know, kind of clung on to the fact that he was still in the bout. It only took 1 at that late stage, quite evidently, to close it out, and was able to pick up a nice W after, you know, a really tough going across those, you know, 3 or so rounds.
Yeah, 100%, and just a great fight. Primetime guarantee, as always. As we move to our third fight of this evening, it's going to be 2 guys on the PlayStation side. It's going to be Skitch, one of the best French players in the world in PlayStation. Likes to fight using his striking. He's an incredible striker. Fights a lot like Ed Parker and the CW guys. He does a fantastic job going to the body, mixing it up. and he's going to be fighting A55 Matrix, who this guy in another league beat Rayhan when Rayhan was on a 10-fight win streak and knocked him out in the first round. He's a great competitor, likes to use his striking, likes to do a bit of pressure boxing, but this fight being so early on the prelims is honestly just an absolute treat because I love both of these guys and how they fight.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they're able to get going with it. I've heard a lot about the Sketch guy from yourself, Humble, and obviously that's a pretty nice feather that he has in his cap if he was able to beat Rayhan when he was on his killing spree out there. But once again, I've heard a lot of good things about these A55 boys. Obviously, I've never had the pleasure of fighting the PlayStation side of the community myself, but from what I hear, the hands and the all-round mixed martial arts game seem to be pretty strong, especially with these two competitors right here.
Yeah, and before, I think we got Dill back, but before we go to that, A55 was actually KIA, so KIA and A55 was one unit, but what happened is the guys from the American side of the pond, the Canadians, they wanted to go in their own team just for connection-wise, and all the English UK guys made their own team, which was KIA, you know, today. So these guys are actually my old teammates, so I know every single one of these guys. That's why A55 Spooky used to be the team captain. Matrix was one of my teammates, and you know, always these competitors have been around since UFC 3. They've been a massive team, Team Arse as they like to be called. But yeah, great team, great guys, and we'll get to see today how good this fight's going to be. Dale,
Yes.
are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, sorry for the difficulties.
It's all right.
These things happen, brother. These things happen. Glad to have you back in the booth. We had a sensational fight between your campmate a moment ago and obviously his opponent, who was able to dig deep and take it into those later rounds, able to pick up that victory. But as always, you know, the entertainment is always delivered when somebody like Machine Gun steps in the cage. And Amazon too, quite evidently.
Nice. Amazon got the W. Congratulations, Amazon.
Yeah, it was one of them fights that Machine Gun was doing so well. He looked like he was running away with it, but he kept the same style, kept the same sort of volume with his combinations, even when he didn't have enough stamina. And then it eventually caught up to him with that one big shot, that one big uppercut when you go into the body. Clean knockout from Amazon, and Machine Gun's got to be pissed with himself, all upset, because he was controlling that fight. I feel like if he just backed off a bit, he probably could have got the decision, or maybe a knockout if he let Amazon come to him.
Congratulations to Amazon. That was a great fight from what I saw from both guys.
Well, guys, good news. These two gentlemen have cut the final required pounds. They have made weight and they are ready to step into the cage. This one appears to be in bantamweight. I have two Peter Yans in front of me. One of them is repping the Canadian flag, Dale. You know, you've got to be unbiased, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. You've got one of your countrymen, look, at least it looks like, fighting in the cage tonight.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be unbiased, but oh, Canada, let's go.
And that would be the Matrix coming from Canada, and Skitch, like I said, one of the best French players in the world. So we got Europe versus the Canadians right now, and see how that goes. But this is going to be a hell of a striking match. I'm so happy I get to call this live in the prelims of PrimeTime. This is going to be incredible. Looks like a TJ Dillashaw, Jan.
Well, as you said, any of these fights could realistically have made themselves up as a main card fight off reputation alone, but as they build their roster records up, we get to see them move up and up, and like you said, it's a pleasure to have these two guys fight, you know, early on in the card and display some skills in this bantamweight division. As you said, previous campmates, so probably pretty familiar with each other, I've got to imagine.
100%. These guys have probably fought each other a few different times, especially in the leagues format, but got a few A55 members in the chat, all repping, and Skitch got 96% of the betting, so this is going to be interesting as A55 Pressure does what he does best, presses forward PTM. He's trying to punch his block through his chest still.
I watched Skitch fight probably a couple cards ago, and they were speaking of the nationality and one of the best French players, and I was really impressed by the way he fought.
Honestly, a lot of the French players that we've seen coming across from our affiliate league, of course, have done fantastic. We've seen Daniel the Freeman, and obviously, like you said, Skitch. Quite clearly, nice. there is a deep level of skill within France that is growing, and it's nice to see the community continue to grow on that side. These two guys are bringing the action nice and early there, Humble, as they continue to exchange in the pocket. It's not really tentative, but they are picking their shots pretty nicely, no matter where they sit.
Oh. You got to be careful. Yeah, it's this counters from Skitch as well. Not just the pressure from A55 Matrix at the moment is kind of stopping Skitch's movement, which is what he likes to focus on the most. But if Matrix misses a shot and Skitch gets to counter him, that's where he does his most damage. He knows how to hurt people when he gets them hurt. He knows how to do more damage in that moment. So he's got to be careful. But look at these combinations come flying out. He looks like an helicopter deal.
Nice combos, and both guys ready just to stand and bang.
My God, brother. I mean, Bang Muay Thai is strong in Skitch. The way that he has thrown combinations, continually ending with some sort of shot to the body, has had a fantastic effect so far in the fight. But the combos answered back from Matrix Humble. My God, he is making the most of any opportunity he gets. Jesus!
Like I said, he does so much damage when he counters you, and you see that duck under overhand there. These guys give me so much trouble when I fight them. I always come away with just like that nervous wreck that you get from Darren Till and Whitaker as he lands the uppercut right there. He drops his opponent. Matrix going for the finish on Skitch. Can Skitch survive? Oh, he can't.
Shots landed, is able to finish with that ground and pound. Wow, what a back and forth quick fight.
Sorry, I had to give that a round of applause. Those were two guys that really, really laid it all out on the line. That was honestly, from like the best comparison for any of the guys from our Xbox side that I can give it is that was like a great miss v great missed fight. These two guys came out and just went balls to the wall from the opening going, and it ended up in A55 Matrix picking up another W over a very, very high level opponent. That was an absolute pleasure to call.
You don't get any easy fights in prime time at the moment if you're on the PlayStation side, because Skitch currently was 2-0, he now goes to 2-1, and one of his wins over the guys who's been on an absolute tear. He's also fighting later on in A55 Spooky as well, which we'll get to see. He's fighting in the co-main event, so Skitch has got a win over A55 Spooky, and Matrix comes back and say, I'm going to get you back for beating one of our campmates. And now Matrix goes to 2-0 as he moves up them PlayStation rankings.
Keep your eye on both those guys. Keep your eyes open for both those guys.
Just don't match me. Don't match me against either of them two, okay? I want the easiest fight possible for the most amount of money.
I love it, brother. I absolutely love it. Well, I have to say, man, just an incredibly entertaining bout. As Dale was saying, keep your eyes out for those guys. They're definitely going to have a bright future within this community for sure. If they continue to sign up and fight, they're going to have a lot of people supporting them. With styles like that, it's hard not to. I mean, continuously bringing the action, the combinations were beautiful, the counters were absolutely on point, and yeah, just a beautiful job all around from both opponents. That does, however, move us on to the next bout, which is going to be Mark Jeff versus TMF of Voider. I believe this one's set up for the bantamweight division. A little bit of information. I got the pleasure of fighting a Voider last night. I'm not going to give away his game plan. I will say that he is a fellow Welshman. He may be from the other side of Wales in Cardiff. I'm from Swansea, so I'm not going to boo this man right here. But he, all seriousness, lovely guy, and really, kind of has some deceiving skills when it comes to UFC 4. Didn't know what to expect from him. Gave me some troubles last night, and I look forward to seeing what he's able to do up against somebody like Mark Jeff, who I haven't personally had the pleasure of fighting yet, but I've heard this man likes to talk a little bit and likes to back it up when it gets into the cage, and that's exactly what he's going to be looking to do here this evening up against the Voider.
You can tell that when someone comes in with an undefeated record of 1-0 and they win the first fight, the wind's in their sails, they think they can take on the world, but it's a different kettle of fish as you start moving up the rankings, and that's exactly what Mark Jeff did when he beat his last opponent. He's going to be fighting a Voider who's 2-0, so someone's always got to go, and he's also ranked number 15, so a big win here for Mark Jeff could send him up to the rankings, maybe even taking a Voider's spot. So an Voider wants to get another feather on his cap for 3-0 as he moves forward in this fight. We've got Sean O'Malley versus Dominic Cruz going to happen right now. Dale, what do you expect from these two characters?
Your mic is muted, brother. Your mic is muted. You're all good. Just to quickly jump in there for a moment, I have to say that Avoider's Cruz is actually the fight that I got to see him in last night. He utilizes the movement pretty well, has been training with the likes of Crypto, who has a very, very nice Cruz. But Mark Jeff is utilizing that jab that you were talking about a little bit earlier on, Humble. And you've got to imagine, Dale, that if he continues to do it with a long type fighter like Sugar Sean O'Malley, he can cause a lot of problems for Avoider.
I was going to say, yeah, with O'Malley, the amount of striking that comes from nowhere from O'Malley is crazy. But with Cruz's little side steps, his movement, it could benefit and take away O'Malley's striking if he uses it.
Yeah, definitely the stamina is usually an issue as well for Sean O'Malley if you start whipping strikes. And
Just
as
like
your
that.
opponents, moving out of the way. What I'm liking from Avoider at the moment, if you watch his footwork, he's moving on the away from the power of Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's power's on his back left foot and his back left-handed. And you can see Cruz will constantly move towards that lead hand, trying to take away that weapon that he keeps using. He's doing it in a smart way, but he's got to be careful not to get caught with a head kick coming from the lead leg.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you are evading the strikes with it. However, if you utilize those movements a little bit too much, you can get a little bit predictable and maybe timed by the longer fighter in O'Malley. He's doing a great job of utilizing the knees and the jabs right now. I'm liking the movement from Avoider, but I would like to see some more combinations to answer back there, Humble. Otherwise, he's going to continue to get tuned up from the outside just like that.
Oh, he definitely is. And what I'm liking so far, though, from Avoider is he's constantly sticking on his morals, using that movement and trying to land his shots when Sean O'Malley's coming in. And there's going to be times when he's not going to have the time and times when he is, but he's got to be careful with them movements there. Them movements could get him in trouble if O'Malley keeps kicking that leg.
Yeah. Obviously interesting to note
Jeff
as well,
is
Dale.
Mark Jeff is really utilizing those strikes well. He's not swinging away when Cruz is trying to sidestep. He's really landing some nice shots.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to him planting on those shots when he does decide to throw. A lot of the time he is planted, and obviously that speeds it up, allows him to be a little bit more accurate. He's going 1-2 straight down the barrel. Getting that head off the center line may pay Cruz some dividends at this stage. It seems to be in the straights, Humble. I mean, this is a continued sniping attempt from Sugar Sean.
Yeah, and a beautiful little head kick there. I don't know if you guys seen that. Something I was talking about earlier on about slipping to the left constantly. He immediately followed up with a lead head kick to try and catch the avoider, trying to avoid the strike and slipping off. I've seen that straight away. So he's actually setting up strikes around. He's making reads. Mark Jeff is no joke. He's here to finish his opponent, and that's what he's trying to do to avoid it now, Dale.
Mark Jeff putting on a lot of damage in that first round. Avoider's going to have to think of something a little bit of a different game plan here, something to settle him down.
Yeah, I think I agree. Using a lot of the footwork, like I said, I'd just like to see some combinations behind it there, Dale. Obviously, have you got the pleasure to fight with this gentleman yet, Avoider? Obviously, I know he's one of your teammates, but I don't know if you've had the opportunity to fight each other just quite yet.
Yes.
Yeah, he can really mix it together when he gets into the zone, right, brother?
We've had lots of spars. No, he's a great fighter.
Oh.
That's a little bit more like it, right, Humble? Mixing in some of the, actual striking with that movement. If he's able to just put something behind it, it's going to give Mark Jeff, a second pause before actually opening up with something. He doesn't want to get caught right in a high vulnerability spot.
Yeah, the biggest issue that the Voice got at the moment is Mark Jeff's not committing when he doesn't want to commit as well. So it's not only just a case you're getting peppered from the outside and picked apart with the longer fighter. It's also the case that you can't hit O'Malley because he's out of range every time. He's using his range like John Jones uses his range. He's just picking his opponent apart, touching him. And then when he wants to get in on the inside, he kicks the leg, closes the distance, and then just starts firing away.
That left leg is absolutely mincemeat at this stage in the fight. Now he gets caught with the left hook to the jaw, and Mark Jeff is continuing to try and pressure forward and cause damage. He's doing a really, really good job of leading this fight so far. I would maybe like to see a takedown out of Cruz because I feel like he's getting just, that little step behind so far on the feet there, Dale.
He's getting battered on the feet right now. A takedown would be nice to see, just to test him out on the ground. You never know when you're going to take somebody to the ground and dominate them. You at least have to check out that aspect of your game.
Yeah, especially when your leg is this damaged. It puts him in such a vulnerable spot that, on the feet is, a pretty tough place to be right now there, Humble.
Yeah, he's starting to close the distance, so he's decided to change his game plan. He's gone from being the avoider to the aggressor at the moment because he's starting to chase down Sean O'Malley. And this is where Sean O'Malley can be dangerous. But I think the avoider is starting to notice some aspects of Mark Jeff's game as well about going backwards. Beautiful setup with the head kick there. Just as I was saying earlier on, he was been setting that up from the start of this, and he lands it. But I do believe Avoider was onto something as he started following and going after his opponent. I think that he needs to continue that, but maybe in the switch stance.
Yeah, that definitely has to switch stance if he's going to be able to do it. Maybe don't throw that left leg. Either one check could end the fight, but the pressure adding up from Avoider at that kind of in those moments was definitely looking good. But the head health just really isn't there, Dale, and he's having a lot of issues sustaining it. But the head
was
kick.
able to get one back. Was able to get one back. This is
wow.
where he needs to be careful and buckle down and get some more damage.
Beautiful work right now. As Cruz tries to fire back, he's trying to rally, and his teammates in the chat will be trying to rally him on as well. As O'Malley goes to the body again. Mark Jeff's maybe getting a bit too fancied, maybe getting a bit too disrespectful for his opponent and getting caught for it.
Front kick, another big rock. That's exactly what he needs.
What the hell's going on tonight?
I don't know, brother. I don't know. That left leg is chewed, but somehow the Avoider is finding ways of causing damage. But Jeff answers back with another leg kick. These guys are really, really distributing the damage so well. As we approach the end of this second round, I really can't see how this will make it to the judges there, Dale. I mean, just leaving it all out there, attacking the leg, the head, the body, no matter, what is available, they're taking it.
What guts. After great performance, after putting on that beating, still taking rocks. Avoider not out of this yet.
What the hell happened there?
A lot of damage.
Wow, that was crazy. Yeah, like it's been strange. The last couple of fights, it's been the same case so far. That the dominant person in the first round is usually not the dominant person by the third round. Switching up, as I think that Sean O'Malley is starting to piece Avoider, and he's got the fight in the bag, and all he needs to do is touch him. Dominic Cruz, and he just comes back out and he decides, you know what, I'm gonna try and win this fight for once. I'm gonna put some pressure on you, see how you deal with it. And Mark Jeff didn't deal with it very well, but he'll be fancying his chances in the next round, Cyrus.
Yeah, the thing is, he just continues to plant on that straight. If we just seen him move his head off that center line, he could catch him with one big counter. It's all it's going to take, even though that left leg is compromised. As you see, the head health really isn't there, Dale, and he just needs one good time shot.
He sure does. I mean, both guys are just ready to drop at this point. Both guts by both gentlemen. Everything's poured right out into this.
Yeah, them front kicks so far have absolutely nailed Mark Jeff coming forward. But he's starting to throw a lot of knees now, trying to throw stuff down the middle himself to stop Cruz from putting that pressure onto him. But just like that movement that we just seen there, Cyrus, where he does that Dominic Cruz movement, I feel like it's kind of wasted movement, and that's why the stamina the way it is, and that's why Mark Jeff's having an easier time than he needs to, because he could have punished him right there.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to do it, I'd like to see him doing the lunging jab or something like that, just to kind of take his head off the center line, but that's a lot easier said than done at this stage, as Mark Jeff is really, really putting it all together and mixing it up pretty nicely. But my God, once again, every time I say something like that, or every time we say something like that, we see Avoider or whoever it is at that time just answer back with some big shots and keep themselves in this bout, obviously giving their opponent a lot to think about.
What a fight.
Both of these guys going for it as we move into the last half of the third round right now. Who is going to win it as the Avoider presses the action? He's got Mark Jeff backing up. Mark Jeff doing a great job, though, of getting out of the way of that damage oncoming traffic right there, Dill.
That head health of O'Malley is brutal, but that leg of Avoiders is horrible. Any guy can come out with this. This is an exciting fight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Welsh never give up, though. I will say that Cruz has had some difficulties in this fight just like that, but he is fighting through. Mark Jeff maybe closing out this bout, though. One more shot is all it's going to take. Oh my God! What the hell just happened?
And Dominic Cruz has turned into a zombie right now as Sean O'Malley's going to try and finish him. He had his head completely gone, but somehow the referee didn't get in fast enough, and Dominic Cruz did a Tyson Fury.
just literally rose like the Undertaker. Now he gets the uppercut, and he may be able to
get him. Oh, I'd love to see the head kick right there.
Beautiful head slip by O'Malley to stop that.
36 seconds left, Cyrus, as we move forward. Who is going to want it more in this fight? Is it going to be Avoider? Is it going to be O'Malley? Oh my God, Mark Jeff trying to knock him out right now, Cyrus.
I mean, there's one shot away. He's so close.
Oh my God, this is it. 10 seconds left. Who's going to get him? Knocks him down to the floor. He's going to get the chance to finish him? No, he doesn't. Great fight. Oh my days.
Wow.
Beautiful work, beautiful fight. I mean, look, it may not have always been the most technical. There were moments of madness in this one. They're humbled, but both guys brought the action. They were looking for any opportunity to get the other out of there. And even though we hit the decision, I don't think it was through any lack of trying. Mark Jeff picking up a W 30-27. I have to say, I do think that Avoider landed some good damage, but quite clearly, Sugar Sean O'Malley was leading the dance in this one.
Yeah, he was outclassed slightly, but that heart that came through, Avoider doesn't lose any sort of momentum going forward with this one because it was a great fight. And as we said earlier on, Mark Jeff now goes to 2-0. Avoider was 2-0, he's now 2-1. Doesn't mean too much. One loss on your record's not bad so far going forward, and he can pick that right back up with another win. And I expect both of these guys to do well going forward in the future.
Well,
Great fight by both guys, and I guarantee they're both going to come back stronger.
yeah, always, Dale, always, right, man. You sometimes you just have to learn from your mistakes. I mean, the heart that was shown by Avoider, the Welshman, like I said, he was never going to give up from start to finish. He had a tough time throughout the entire bout, but was really able to continue to, find ways of surviving and causing damage of his own. You know, he had a lot of moments where he was able to shift that momentum. But like you say, Mark Jeff, 92, able to get that job done here this evening with a lot of strikes landed, a number of knockdowns, a number of stuns, and he's going to be feeling really, really good moving to 2-0, as you mentioned there, Humble. A lot of confidence is building in this man, right?
Yeah, 100%. You've got guys like this who are coming through, and you've seen it already with the likes of Matrix, Skitch when he was 2-0, and there's a load of different guys who are just starting to build a record here. 5-5 Spooky, as we talked about earlier on, and loads of different people on the Xbox side as well, just coming through slowly. And then we have a load of returning war veterans as well, who are just meeting these guys in the center and starting to show us who these guys are. So it's been amazing. It feels like a lot of the UFC, but what a set of fights to start Primetime card. It's been absolutely incredible. As we move to the next fight, it's going to be Hayes versus EK Warbsy, if I'm correct.
That's exactly right. And Dale, just to set you up really quickly there, brother, I mean, EK Warbsy, part of the EK camp, a fantastic competitor all round, has the ability to mix it up on the hands and on the ground, definitely. But he's up against PL1 Hayes, a man that talks a lot of trash, but has incredible hands at times.
I do believe I fought both these guys at one point in time, and PL1 and EK camp, great camp, and both guys are gonna bring it.
Well, without further ado, I think that they are about ready to go. It appears we might be seeing a Dustin Poirier mirror match. It is lightweight, so, I mean, he seems to be a very, very common pick these days there, Humble, due to his all-round game and, of course, that power in the hands.
Yeah, 100%, especially after that win over Conor McGregor. He got a bit of a buff, and his stats were graded. Some people would call it, he's like the Max Holloway of the lightweight division, and I tend to agree with it as well, because if Dustin Poirier gets going, it's hard to get him off you, but he's also got that amazing ground game as well with if someone does pick the likes of a Khabib or an Islam Makhachev. You've got that in your arsenal with the rubber guard and some other stuff, just like Anthony Pettis. But these two here, PL1 Hayes coming in at 1-0, and EK Warbsy with a 3-3. So you've got like a bit of a veteran in this season so far, facing off against a guy with a bit of momentum going forward. So let's see who these guys pick and get it started.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, obviously, PL1 Hayes, just a little bit of information about him in general. He is a guy that was part of the community in the very, very early days. And like I said, Humble, I mean, I know that these guys are often some of your favorites to watch. He really does like to talk a lot of trash against really anybody at any time. But when he gets in the cage, he does have the kind of skills needed to rise to the occasion a lot of the times and get those hands going. His boxing is pretty clean, and I imagine that the time he's taken away, joining a new camp and so on, is only going to pay dividends to him. Yeah,
it's 100%, and Elite Kings is such a great camp as well, and then you've got the other camp as well, which is both amazing camps, but we get to see it now. This is how we sort these issues out. We get in the middle and we battle it out to see who the best competitor is, and that's what they're going to be doing right now, Dale.
And I love the mirror matches too. Like I said, I've said it a few times. Both guys have the same skill set, same move set. It really does show who the better fighter is at the time.
Yeah, especially, it just leaves no questions answers, right? It's not like, oh, if I just had this one technique that they didn't, and so whatever it is. And like you see right now, EK Warbsy is taking it to PL1 Hayes, who is normally the aggressor with his boxing, so potentially just trying to take that element of his game away from him, Humble. The more he's able to do that, you've got to imagine the more he's able to chip away at PL1's Hayes's, kind of confidence. And you've got to take into consideration that he's been out of the game for quite a long time. He hasn't been competing as actively as somebody like Warbsy has been.
Yeah, just as we've seen in the record, Warbsy's had 6 fights in the league, and he's had 1. So at the moment, you can kind of tell because Warbsy's coming out strong. You've got he's doing the Cowboy Cerrone and coming out cold, and he's pressing his opponent back right now. But I'm seeing some nice movement so far. He's trying to slip off to the left or right hand side and catch him with a big uppercut coming in, but he's eating a lot of damage at the moment to the block just to get that one back, and he hasn't landed it yet. Dale.
Nice head kick landed by Warbsy now, and he's not getting crazy going in there, swinging wildly trying to finish this. He's gonna step back. He's playing it smart. He's gonna step back and pick him apart like he has been.
Yeah, he's not taking pictures, which is what's leading to a lot of the success so far, that with obviously some intelligent pressuring. But I will say that as this fight goes on, if we see PL1 Hayes start to get a little bit more comfortable in his striking, start to find his timing like he has in the past, he can bang with the best of them, man, and I expect him to really start to try to turn the tides of this fight as he starts to make some reads up against Warbsy. I would not count this man out yet. He's been pretty defensively sound, although quite clearly EK Warbsy is so far leading the march in this one there, Humble.
Yeah, he is, and a lot of that is to do with the footwork. If you're watching the footwork of what Warbsy's doing at the moment, he's staying relatively just behind that black line, and when he wants to press the action and when he wants to get his opponent against that fence, that's where he does the most damage, and he just decides to do it when he feels it's safe. He's picking the times to engage, he's picking the times when he wants to throw, and the amount of combinations or the amount of shots he wants to throw in a combination. So that's what's got to change so far for me. The footwork has to be changing, and he's got to try and get that back if he wants to win the fight, Dale.
Yeah, some people don't understand that it's that black line has a big thing. Like if you get backed up to the cage, it really stops your movement, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, it's just a case of if you're against that cage and you can't move backwards anymore, so you've lost the direction that you can move in. Now your opponent can guess left or right, and if you get dropped against the cage, you're going to get extra damage against the fence. You're limited movement, but some people like to fight like that, but at the moment, it's not kind of working out for Hayes, and I believe that's the issue, and he's got to try and win that the control battle of the center of the octagon, Cyrus.
Yeah, definitely. Just circling out a little bit more, I think that, we haven't really seen Warbsy cage cut too much. He is to a certain degree, but he's also following. So if he's able to get some nice step-offs or nicely timed side steps, just to get back to the center of the cage, he could start to have a lot more success. Backing up this easily, he's instantly getting pressured behind that black line. Does manage to catch the leg kick, and this is a little bit better from him, right, Dale? Now he finds himself in a much better position.
It feels a lot better to be in the center of the cage than back. You don't want to feel like you're behind anything in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a constant battle of if Warbsy was throwing certain kicks and strange combinations from the outside, say strange combinations, but stuff like the teep, stuff like the push kick to the face, and what that was doing was backing up Hayes slightly. Now Hayes is starting to utilize his jab, as Doctor always says, and that's being able to close the gap to land the combinations that he wants to, and he's also evaded some strikes as well, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's in a very good spot right here. The stamina's looking pretty good. He did defensively well in that first round, at least to the point where he's not compromised in any area. Nice couple of shots landed by EK Warbsy, but I will agree with you that definitely right now he's doing a lot better. The timing is on point, the head movement, the combinations all coming together for PL1 Hayes, and this is where he's dangerous, Dale.
Hayes landing a nice combo right there, working the head, working the body.
Oh, big body shot right there. Comes back, slips the shot as well. He's now getting his opponent to engage the time he wants to engage, and coming off the center line to try and catch him, which is nice. The fakes are coming out as well. That's going to help him with the space. And the false pressure from Warbsy as he's throwing the combination, he catches him with a big one. He's going to try and finish him right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, I didn't really see what even caught him. It seemed like a short shot, but Warbsy smells blood. He is pressuring forward, looking for a finish, recognizing that obviously at the moment Hayes seems to be recovered, doesn't want to walk onto anything too much. But once again, I have to say Hayes is just doing such a good job in the second round, or a much better job in the second round of staying staying inside those black lines, allowing himself a lot of space to be able to move into there, Dale.
That head work of Hayes really helped him.
Oh,
taking
wow.
a lot more damage. And that head work just got that drop with that little slip.
Oh, when he passes the guard, there's a bit of a glitch going on, but he gets through into half guard, and this is going to be a dangerous position so far. He might be able to get some damage off here. I don't know if it's wise for him to try and grapple Dustin Poirier off his back, just because I feel like Dustin Poirier off his back's a bit better than he is on top. But at the same time, 55 seconds left. He's trying to cement the round so far, Cyrus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This has been an interesting first round, nicely mixed together. Didn't expect to see, didn't expect to see him stay on the ground should it hit here for Hayes. He's normally somebody that really is content to bang it out on the feet. But a back and forth round. I think there's just a lot of adjustments to make going into this third one. Still all to play for as these guys continue to try and pour on the pressure with each other over the end of this second and potentially third round. We'll want to take a moment just as we go into the third round of this bout. Massive shout out once again to all of the guys across at ESFL Gaming. Appreciate the raid coming through with a maximum rate of 44. You guys are truly legendary. Hope your event went great. We'll be checking it back a little bit later. I know that Bruce Lee, Rob, and I believe Bane were calling that one. So sure that there was a crazy night of fights there, Humble.
Yeah, one of the best league in the world, let's be real. And always leading the by example, coming through with the raid. And we've got a fantastic card so far. There's been some amazing fights, and it's only going to get better from here on out as we've got Wobbsy versus Hayes, and he catches him with a big left hook. He's chasing him around the octagon now.
Oh, this is where he's got to be careful and watch out for that big. Oh, there was almost a slippery turn right there.
Big shot.
But comes in smart and lands another rock.
This has got to be it, brother. Yes, it is.
He's finished
Wobbsy able to pick up another big W there, Humble, and he looked calm and composed in this fight, even when PL1 Hayes was getting some success. Didn't seem to throw him off course. Able to pick up the finish in the third round after a very much a workmanlike performance.
Yeah, definitely, and that was all about that the center of the octagon control. He controlled where his opponent wanted to be. He controlled when the engages were going to be happening. Managed to get a good lead on the damage and the head health. And then when Hayes started to press him back and catch him with some counters, he wasn't fazed by it, kept chipping away, and eventually gets a massive finish over a great competitor right there, and manages to pull himself back in the win column.
Yeah, exactly right. And no shame to somebody like PL1 Hayes. I think that a little bit of ring rust maybe out there. He was able to pull it together in moments in that fight, but obviously EK Wobbsy is a top competitor, and this was a little bit of too much of a step up too early for him. I'm sure he's going to go back to the drawing board with his teammates and make the necessary adjustments to come out and really deliver in his next bout. Once again, moments of brilliance there, Humble, and if he's able to get that on a little bit more consistently throughout the entire bout, especially in the early part of the rounds, he could really take on anybody.
He could, and it was just a slight adjustment of him realizing that it's like he started a bit like a Cerrone type. He just not a slow, it's a very slow starter, and when he started getting going, it was a bit too late. And that's all you need to do. Just realize the problem a bit earlier on. Make mid-round adjustments rather round-to-round adjustments, because the adjustment he made clearly worked. He clearly started getting his shots back off, but Wobbsy just done a bit too much and eventually caught him with a really big counter and managed to finish the fight.
Well, I will take us into the next one very briefly. I know that you're familiar with one of these gentlemen, but we have a returning fighter now on the PlayStation side, and that will be TMF Hammer. This man has been away from the community for a little while, coming back and trying to put on some performances. Now fighting on the PlayStation side, at least for the foreseeable future. He finds himself up against a dangerous man stepping across from him in Dante, a little bit newer to the scene, but seems to be trying to make waves on his way, Dale. This one's in the lightweight. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. You know it's always going to have fireworks when these two guys are stepping opposite each other, especially when you've got a TMF boy taking on somebody like Dante.
This is going to be a banger, and Hummer's been around for a while. This is one of those guys who's an OG and a veteran of the league, and both guys are going to have an extremely tough fight, I believe.
Yeah, I can imagine. So with these sorts of matchups, I think that the bottom game of somebody like Dustin Poirier, their Humble, is probably enough to dissuade somebody like Justin Gaethje to use any of his wrestling. I imagine that these guys are going to be largely finding themselves throwing it down on the feet, and when that's the case, the leg kicks can play a massive factor.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you've got Gaethje and when you've got Dustin Poirier, you want to be using each of their attributes and using their best weapons and tools, and your perks especially as well. And if you're Justin Gaethje, there's no question about it. That's one of it is his leg kicks. Dustin Poirier has great leg kicks himself, but not on the same level as a Gaethje who can catch you, because that does set up his hands. The best way to play with Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier is to play like their actual characters, which is one of the reasons that so many people like to use them characters. It's going to be an all-out war. You got to fight in the air. We might get it again in prime time.
Wouldn't expect anything less. As we've said multiple times, the Primetime Guarantee continually living up to expectations. They are now throwing down in the early going, but the big power takedown from Justin Gaethje. The wrestling is definitely on the cards, Dale, and we find ourselves here nice and early, brother.
You don't want to be on your back too early, but at least he's got the stamina to be able to work out of this, but you don't want to be on your back this early with Gaethje on top of you.
Definitely not.
Sorry, yeah, 100%, especially when someone can make reads, and that's one of the biggest things about the grappling. No one really kind of understands. Sometimes people let you get up because they want to see your pattern, because later on in the fight, the second or third round, especially good submission guys, that's when they go for the submission and try and get the reads that they've made. It's all about raking reads, especially on the feet as well, Cyrus.
Yeah, definitely. I was just oohing to Crazy Elmatic's little head movement. He's been able to evade a couple of shots and answering back with some nice combinations. It's been an interesting start to this bout with some big damage landing. Both guys really, letting loose at this stage in the bout, Dale. You'd love to see it.
Big overhand landed right there. You can see him kind of loading up onto the little. Making a little bit of damage now.
Yeah, Dylan, he's got him against the fence right there. But good job there. He gets out of that the danger as he moves, but goes for the takedown. A bit too predictable. Didn't set that one up, Dill.
It looks like he's looking for that pullback. Gaethje looks like he's looking for that pullback. He's got to be careful doing that, because if he comes back in and misses it, he's going to get hit.
Yeah, definitely. I am liking what I'm seeing from both guys, though. The combinations are really starting to bleed through. Crazy Elmatic is finding himself on the worst end of the head health. That is Justin Gaethje, of course. Dustin Poirier's power is definitely bleeding through. A lot of feints, those leg kicks into the straights, all really starting to come together for him. And he's finding his opponent pressed up against the cage as well, Humble, which has got to be confidence building. And he lands some bombs on the dome.
Big shot, overhand. Now he's got him against the fence. He's going to pepper him. Doesn't get the chance to finish, but now he's got him against the cage again. And this way he wants to be. He's using beautiful combinations at the moment, and that's because he's not using his jab. He needs to use his jab to try and create that space. His opponent knows that he's using short shots to try and fire back, because he doesn't feel like he wants to be there, and he's catching him every time, Dill, with a big uppercut.
The uppercut from hell.
Oh, man.
Wow.
It's all over, folks. It's all over. Dustin Poirier able to get the job done. One hell of a fight, bro. One hell of a fight. They really turned up the pace nice and early in that one, and delivered once again. That uppercut. The overhand was coming, but it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed, Humble. Connected perfectly and sent him to sleep.
No, it wasn't needed. And like I said, the jab there, any sort of long shot to kind of keep your opponent off you. When someone's pressing you like that, you need to be able to use like a spear motion to try and back them up. And what he was doing is getting in the pocket with him, and he would trade with hooks and uppercuts, and he knew that was coming, so he could stay in the pocket without getting caught with that jab, and that's what he needed to do there. But a great performance, and he gets the win going forward, Dill.
Oh, great performance by both guys. Both guys came out throwing big shots, big uppercuts, big hooks, and you knew somebody was going to drop.
100%, but that takes us on to our featured bout of the prelims, and that's going to be Purple Urkel versus KAI, Kai Films. One of the guys around the community who's been out here for a while, Cyrus, and Purple Urkel, no stranger to this community himself, a regular to the primetime audience.
Yeah, though, both guys are known for their savvy on UFC 4. Kai, of course, very deep into making the trailers and everything else as well, getting involved in many other ways. I expect an entertaining bout from this. We've seen Kai challenging for a belt in a previous season, has a pretty impressive ground game, in all honesty. And, obviously his kind of fan-friendly favorite fighter that he likes to support is obviously Chimaev, and he kind of represents that sort of style, and that's what he brings to the table. Purple Urkel across from him, though, a little bit of a different story, Dale. He's kind of all hands, and he looks to turn your lights out like just as soon as he can, brother. As soon as he can, any opportunity that he finds himself, he's going to kick that face in.
The hands are crazy. The hands are crazy. The striking is really on point on Purple Urkel.
100%. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, without further ado, brother, we're going to skip across. We're about to see a Jorge Masvidal pick out of Purple Urkel, and Colby Covington sitting there in the side of Kai. I think that represents his style pretty well out here, Humble. Or maybe even the Kamaru Usman. Just somebody with that wrestling base to be able to mix it all together.
Always likes to pick the Kamaru Usman type of characters. Always. Fun fact: KIAW was my first loss in the ESFL.
Really?
So he handed me my first loss. We've had absolute wars going backwards and forwards with wins and losses, but where it matters, he beat me on my debut, and he's just a beast. And let's not forget, he's got hands as well. He knows how to fight with the legs of the grapplers, and he understands that this is the great thing about him. He understands that when he starts using his hands and then the takedowns as well, the mixed martial arts, both of them complement each other and set each other up. This is not just boxing. This is not just kickboxing. The best mixed martial artist wins at this game usually. So that's what Kai does very, very well.
Excellently put. Couldn't have said it better myself. They find themselves touching the gloves to start out round one, trying to trade nice and early. Looks like Kamaru Usman was trying to be the aggressor, but instantly turned around, Dale, and now we find George St. Pierre just using a lot of lateral movement. Looks like these trying to find some shots, but running into some trouble from Kai early.
Both guys, GSP and Usman, no joke on the feet as well. Both with very good wrestling, but no joke on the feet. Usman with a little bit more power in my belief, and he's showing that right now.
Yeah, definitely, you are correct on that. Usman, I think he's coming out at 97 or 98 power, which is huge. Going in, and he's got a 5-star jab as well, but so does GSP. But GSP has got a bit more dexterity with his kicks, and I believe GSP's movement's a bit better as well, which I think he deserves, because what Purple Urkel for me needs to do is use that movement, use that jab, and also mix in some takedowns. Put Usman on his back, see how he reacts.
Yeah, I'd like to see him utilizing some of those teeps. Like you said, he's a lot more flexible with the kicks. Definitely doesn't want to be taking pictures in the pocket with somebody like, Kai controlling Kamaru Usman. He's going to load up on those big shots and look to cause damage as quickly as he can. Does not like to waste any time, does good old Kai, but that's an intelligent approach from him, right, Dale? Attacking the body. You're the kind of, the man I would go to for this. Attack that body early. Make sure that come that third round, he really doesn't have the legs to stand on.
Attack that body, make him whiff, stand back, especially that nice little body shot he landed right there, and Usman missed that big hook. And once you get that stamina advantage, it's going to be a lot better for your grappling.
100%. As again, we look at the control so far is coming from KIAW. He's trying to get him there. I'd like to see him use a bit more of the clinch as well. The clinch sets up his own type of striking, and Usman's so dangerous in that. But for me so far, great job of keeping it on the feet from Purple Urkel. That's where he wants to be at the moment. It seems like he's picked GSP not necessarily for the wrestling base for it, but to keep it on the feet against such a prolific grappler like Usman.
Yeah, it's a smart move, and if he's able to continue to not whiff shots, I know he missed 2 right there, but if he's not able to, continue to miss shots, he keeps landing them, keeps attacking the body of Kai, he could really start to snowball into a victory. Obviously, he just has to be careful of this pressure right there. He finds himself pressed up against the cage too often, and that's where Kai's going to be able to land all of those power shots from Usman.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. You can't have your back up against cage, just as we say. GSP with that nice little rock back.
And we seen Kai a second ago put his hands out and say, come on. And as he does it, Purple Urkel is now coming forward and pressing the action in the fight. Was that some frustration?
Straight by GSP.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm saying, was that some frustration we seen from Kai? And is that pain to against his favor at the moment, because he's chasing after GSP and walking into the shots? Cyrus.
Yeah, he is. He is. I don't know if it's maybe because he's seen his stamina is waiting and he feels he needs to turn the pressure up now to get his opponent out of there whilst he's still got the gas tank to do so. But as this fight ticks on, I feel like George St. Pierre is definitely, starting, like I said, to snowball his way into a potential victory. He has to be defensively cognizant there, Dale. Continue to not get pressed up against the cage like this because the damage from Kamaru rains down once again. This is fantastic work from Kai, really turning up the pressure.
Big slam right there, Dale.
Big. Took some big damage up against the cage and then got slammed onto his back.
And I was going to make the comparison as we were moving through the rounds and we just seen the head health, but GSP's head health actually came back a lot lower than Usman's, and Usman's recovery was incredible during that round. So Kai has got to be happy right now as he presses the action, goes for the double uppercut, chases his opponent and knocks him out with the overhand right. Wow.
Oh my God.
Right,
holy shit.
Kai really turned up. He knew he probably couldn't take the fight into the later rounds. Like you said, he did have a pretty decent recovery there, Humble. But yeah, Dale, he recognized that and pushed forward. Wasn't able to stop the damage coming his way was GSP, and that big overhand closes out their show. That is brutal work.
Big shots by Usman. That overhand just took his head off and finished it off. That was nice.
And Kai gets his first win, as that was his first fight on this season so far. So he goes to 1-0. Handing Purple Urkel his loss, and that's going to do it for our featured prelim fight right there. As we move on to the main card, Cyrus, what a card we have up and coming for you. We've got Killer Jake versus Honest Jim. That's going to be an absolute killer fight. We've got just some amazing fights. I can't wait for Kobe versus Spooky, Fadnet versus Tricky, Optics versus Keza. Is there any fight that stands out to you, Dale?
And are these two guys, Killer Jake and Honest Jim?
No, is there any fight that is the main card that you can look at right there and say that you cannot wait for coming up?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm a big fan of Trixie. Like, I'm a big fan of Trixie, and I've got some teammates on this fight. We've got some FSK guys. There's a lot of big names in here. This is going to make some rankings changes, these fights in the main event.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of these guys have got a rank next to their name, so the other person will be looking to come and take away that rank depending on theirs as well. But I believe we're going to try and get down to the next fight. Cyrus, are you there still?
Yeah, I am still here, brother. I am still here. Yeah, as you said, Killer Jake and Honest Jim is up next. But, as you mentioned, there are a number of absolute killers towards this main card now. The two FSK boys fighting for, a bigger spot in the rankings. As you mentioned, Dale, these guys all going to be finding themselves getting that little bit closer to challenging for the title, especially, a very, very competitive and closely contended title like Fadnator and Trixie later on tonight. That's going to be one hell of a bout. But without further ado, guys, we are going to get into the next one. I think these guys are raring and biting at the bit to get in the cage. Obviously, we see Killer Jake with that well-known Conor McGregor pick. He is fantastic with that man. And Honest Jim, Justin Gaethje, bringing all the damage. I think we're going to see a bit of a throwback, Dale, to the highlight Justin Gaethje, where the wrestling, plays a big factor in this bout.
I think so too, Cyrus. That's what he's going to have to do against McGregor, though. You can't. It's really tough for anybody to stand up against any McGregor, and especially like Killer Jake has some pretty nice hands with McGregor. You really have to be careful.
100%. You got to use that. Then body attacks. It'll be interesting to see if Honest Jim goes to the body to try and stop that forward pressure. I'm always interested to see who has that octagon control, who likes to dictate the pace, and how good the other person can counter. But we're about to find out. I'd love to see this matchup in real life as well. Justin Gaethje seems kind of dumb enough to kind of take that Conor fight and try and trade it out on the feet with him. But, it'll be very interesting to see if it ever happens.
They are starting out quickly. Wouldn't expect anything less. Killer Jake really does like to set the tempo in the bout, make sure that his presence is felt, especially on the feet. Mixing it up to the body, which is one of his kind of keepsakes there, Dale. You see him going for those body uppercuts, a lot of feints, and they can really overload his opponent and get them to kind of, just stand there and get a little bit overloaded by all of the options that he's throwing their way.
And with that amount of output, it makes it hard to come in on a guy like that. With that amount of output, you're coming into straights, you're coming into hooks, you're coming into kicks. It's hard to get in there to land a shot on your own.
Nice leg kick though as he tries to go back. Nice duck and evade. Good movement so far from Killer Jake. Really liking how he's evading strikes at the movement. Just moving diagonally out of the way. Perfect example how to do it. And really checking that leg kick as well. So I was taking away an utter weapon for Gaethje.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, man. If you're able to check those leg kicks, which are obviously one of his biggest tools, and then attack the body with those uppercuts like he is, that's going to play dividends very, very quickly. Those two leg kicks were very, very clean, though, Dale. And, you know, well, literally, as we just said, if you get a couple of them with Justin Gaethje, it can change the entire complexion of a fight.
Oh, it absolutely will. Those leg kicks from Gaethje are so dangerous. They'll break your leg, and what do you get? It's so tough to come back from a leg rock. So tough. You're trying to block your leg. You're trying to worry about up high. You're trying to lay an input of your own, but you're always worried about that leg.
Yeah, sets up the flying knee and the head kick as well, which we've seen him land that head kick a few times, so completely did change the fight already. But if you're taking a look at the health stats so far of Honest Jim, he's been getting touched a bit everywhere, and he's got to be careful because one big counter at the moment could put him lights out.
Yeah, it really couldn't. You've got to, that is exactly it, right, Humble? Especially with somebody like Killer Jake, just showing levels with his striking. Little things like when Honest Jim kind of attacks when he attacks Honest Jim's body, Honest Jim is blocking it, going for the uppercut counter. But Killer Jake is one step ahead. He knows that's coming, and he finds a way to slip it and often get a lovely counter off it. We've seen it time and time again from him. So he is a dangerous man, especially with those counters.
Yeah, he's trying to get some off right now as well, Honest Jim. He's just trying to get some offense. And I was going to say, going back to that leg is probably a good idea. Sometimes when you're fighting somebody like Killer Jake and he's landed on your head, he's landed on your body, he's landed on your leg, what I like to do is have a race. If you pick one part of their body and try and land
just
on
like
it,
that!
Oh my God.
Brother, that's exactly what I was talking about. He tries to counter the body uppercut. He slips it and catches him with an uppercut, and that just sends Honest Jim into a world of pain. But once again, Honest Jim doesn't give a shit, brother. He gets straight back up and pressures forward, Dale, continuously bringing the action.
One of those uppercuts were going to land, and that was a nice slip to land the uppercut on his own.
Beautiful work. Let's see if he can continue it going in to the second round. He gets caught right there. I've just noticed this is a 5-round fight, by the way.
Yeah, it ain't going 5 rounds, bro. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. Seriously, they got to. Don't say that. And I was right, bro. I was right.
Beautiful work. Gets a top mount. He's going to be able to block and deny right now. He's going to try and get some damage off himself. And this might be a smart decision, but doesn't posture up there, Dale. And I feel like a missed opportunity for him to try and land some damage, really. He needs some against McGregor. If they're going to stand back up again, he wants to at least be at the detriment of Killer Jake's head health a bit.
Still some of this grappling control, leaning on McGregor, making him work. It's gonna stop McGregor's stamina a little bit, and that's the big thing about McGregor. When you can slow down McGregor, he's not as dangerous.
Yeah, especially, you know, as you go into those later rounds, as you guys were alluding to. I mean, this is exactly one of the things that I was calling for earlier, that normally Honest Jim is so all over. His chain wrestling is some of the best in the biz, but he gets himself reversed by Killer Jake, and the separation was imminent. Obviously, this is where he wants to be, you know, contrastly there, Humble. As you can see, his striking is just really, really exceptional, and he continues to just plant shot after shot with perfect timing on the chin of Justin Gaethje as he pressures forward.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I meant by the damage on the ground. He wanted to do a lot because when he gets back to the feet, this was always going to happen, and he wanted to at least be able to counter once or twice Killer Jake. But at the moment, his head health for Killer Jake's absolutely fine, and Honest Jim could go out at any second.
Jake really implementing those body shots. Every once in a while, you'll see him slip in body shots.
Brother! I have to throw it out there. I mean, Honest Jim is never out of a fight. We've seen him turn around fights from much more dire positions than ones like this as he continues to rip through that leg. Once again, intelligent work. It gives him an opening going into, you know, potentially the third round. But I have to say, this damage from Killer Jake, Humble, is so high right now. I feel like any really crispy, clean kind of connection that he's able to find with that left hand will put Gaethje lights out, face down on the canvas. Just like that, brother! Just like that!
And the rage quit. Maybe. No, he didn't.
My God.
But, yeah, as you were saying, like, a beautiful shot from him. Beautiful.
That was a really nice shot.
Face down, ass up in the air right there, Dill.
Y'all want to see a dead body? One was provided by Killer Jake this evening. Respect to Honest Jim. That man knows that I respect him very, very highly. He's been a competitor since our early IFL days, has always brought the action. Yeah. Tonight he decided to have a more striking approach to the bout, and that maybe kind of bit him in the butt a little bit there, Dale, because as we saw, Killer Jake's striking is, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, Jim's an OG from the IFL days, and there's no doubt that he's going to cut back hard. But what a tough competitor in Jake. I mean, the hands, and when you see him go to the body, and with the not even just the hands, but with the legs, he's so hard to read.
Beautiful performance, right there from Killer Jake as he just dominated that fight and wasn't really in trouble for most of it. We've seen some comebacks throughout the night. I got a bit worried at one point that Honest Jim was just going to land some out of nowhere and we're going to see the end of Killer Jake. But we're going to move on to the next fight, I believe. Cyrus, if you could tell us which one that would be. Seem to have lost Cyrus for a second, so it looks like we'll be getting this one up back in a second. But as you were saying right there, Dale, Killer Jake's hands and his body work with everything he was doing, the mix-ups that he was doing, really offset Honest Jim's offense in himself. And sometimes a good defense is a good offense, right?
It's so tough to read. I mean, like think about it. When you're using your block, you're blocking high, blocking low, blocking high, blocking low. When somebody mixes it up like that, something's coming through, and it's gonna hurt.
100%, and hurt it did. Honest Jim obviously couldn't survive that one, but just waiting for Cyrus to quickly come back to us. We're going to be looking at the card tonight, and the main event is the one that stands out for me every single time. Oh, Cyrus is back now. Hi, Cyrus.
Apologies, guys. No, I am back. We had a very, very short intermission, but these guys are ready to go in the lightweight division. Looks like a Max Holloway pick, which I think is an interesting one for lightweight, right, Dale? He's not as overpowered as he is in in featherweight, and especially up against somebody like Dustin Poirier, that can cause a lot of problems for his opponents.
But he still has the same moveset, and a lot of like that spinning kick to the body, the spinning elbows, the flying knees. It's something that the other fighters don't have, and that if that catches you, it's still gonna be nice.
Not going to be nice indeed. As these two, I believe this might have been a last minute change from the actual graphic we had, and we're going to get a debut from Claudia Zizi and his opponent as well, Cyrus. So these two guys coming in at the deep end right now, and I know it's the first fight on a live card, well, on PrimeTime. I don't know if these guys have competed elsewhere, but let's see if they can live up to the hype.
I will expect nothing less. One of these guys is an FSK boy. Obviously, they always bring the action. One of the up-and-coming camps in the league, in the league and the wider community as a whole, have a really, really deep stable of fantastic strikers, much like the champion that you see later on this evening in FSK Fadinator. But obviously, he's going to have his work cut out for him this evening up against somebody, like Claudius. I've heard some decent things about him. He's gone with the Max Holloway pick, but he has to be careful because the power of Dustin is crazy.
Wow, we want to
hard.
He definitely came out hard right there. And that's it. Fadinator's fighting in the main event. He said, put my boy on the main card. I don't care if he hasn't had any fights so far. He's going to come out and smoke this guy. And that's what he's trying to do right now and send his teammate going forward in the main event with some confidence right now, Dale.
And he's landing the shot so nicely. He's not spamming any combos. He's like, pop, pop, pop. Nice combos. Nice work.
Yeah, I am loving what I am seeing out of this FSK campmate. He is pouring on the pressure, and he's forcing Max Holloway to turn into a little bit of a wrestler here. You cannot blame Claude for shooting that takedown, Humble, because, that pressure was a lot to deal with, bro. It was a lot to deal with.
100%, but nice denial right there from Claude, and he's in mount right now. He could do some damage. He's going for a submission. Let's see how good Claude's submission is going forward, because he's going to have a chance to at least get some off, but not really with a Holloway right there. You can't really expect to get a submission, especially with a stamina differential like that against a Dustin Poirier pick, and especially one of the FSK boys.
No, but it's nice to throw the submission just to see where they are, just to see where they are with the defense, just to give it a little bit of a read.
I mean,
100%.
I have to say, I hope I'm not talking out of turn, but this guy definitely trains with some, the likes of Tadpole and Kez. So that pressure that he is bringing to this fight, he's going to want to separate you. He clearly, he's wanted to go to the side control, finds himself back on the feet. Either way there, Dale. Nice little spinning attack from Holloway, but he's straight back to the pressure, and he was doing so well with it at the early portion of this round that if he's able to continue to land, you've got to imagine that he may be putting Max out in the first.
Those are some dangerous
my
guys
God,
to
bro.
train with, and there's that drop. Max is in big trouble here.
Beautiful
Max
work.
is in big trouble.
Hits the guard right there, gets him back to his feet, gets him back up, and you've not seen anybody work so far from Holloway as he just gets peppered again with a 4-piece to his block. Last one went through. He's going to get countered, and an elbow to the nose to send him to sleep.
My fucking God. FSK coming out with a big win. I mean, I don't really even know what to say. I'm kind of left speechless after that. FSK 3-piece is a beast.
Yeah, beautiful work right there, Dale. I don't know about you fought that fight, but that was a great performance as he sends Fadiner with some confidence in the main event, saying, go ahead, my brother, try and defend that belt. Oh my God, what a fight.
Those were some amazing hands, and they didn't stop. But he took the proper breaks. Like, if you rewatch that fight, he took so many proper breaks to reset his hands. That was amazing. Like, wow, what a fight.
Absolutely blown away. I cannot wait for the next one. We're going to be having two gentlemen that, once again, I've been highly anticipating this bout. It's one of the more recent additions to the TMF roster. Sorry, lost my words for a moment. In TMF Toasty Toes, this guy has come out, looked very, very good in his most recent performances, and looks to continue that momentum here this evening, up against a veteran of the all-round UFC 4 community in Lepo. He has now joined LFC, and since he has developed a grappling game to go along with that pressure style that he had so often before there, Humble, where, he had caused a lot of people's problems with that, so adding that ripple just means that he becomes all that more dangerous going into a fight against TMF's very own Toasty Toes.
100%, and it's one of the things you see about these OGs in the community, the people who know how to evolve and adapt amongst it. When the times get tough, you've got to learn a bit more, because you've got to keep up with these youngins. These youngins come out flying, they can learn quicker than we can. So adapting to his game and making sure he's adding to his arsenal. He's currently 5-2 and be unranked, so he wants to go 6-2 and take the actual spot of teammate for Toasty, who's 14 at the moment, coming in at 2-0, so he could go undefeated at 3-0 if he wins this fight. Surely in the future, got his eyes set on the title shot.
Got to imagine, brother. We lost that fight for a second. Do apologize, but no. Gokhan Saki appears to be stepping across from Alexander Gustafsson. I wouldn't be surprised to see this pick out Aleppo. He's another guy much like one of the other OGs in Machine Gun that we were talking about earlier, that really doesn't mind going with some of the more underrated picks, Dale, and it's the reason that he's such an entertaining fighter. He brings all the action in his fight style and isn't scared to go with some out there picks to really kind of put a point on his victories.
I like those picks, and it's I like those picks because he's trying to prove that, hey, I can pick a less hard character, less tougher character, and I'm still going to come out with it. And that's exciting to see.
It is indeed, but you got to be careful with them picks, because the Gokhan Saki's that, I don't know about you guys, when I try and fight with Gokhan Saki, it's a stamina issue. He's going to be suffering from that. He's got a length issue. Now he's fighting Gustafsson, who's also a great striker in his own right. He's just got to be careful, and the advantage he has is going to be them extra 5-star combinations of the kickboxing combinations that he's got. At the same time, a disadvantage in the stamina. He can't get caught with them long shots. Gustafsson, Cyrus.
I completely agree with you, and obviously that range is likely going to be problematic, especially with somebody like TMF Toasty Toes, who is already showing that he can use it pretty well. Lepo fires the triple uppercut already, Dale, and quite clearly is looking for some big combinations, but has to be careful not to get overcomplicated when his opponent is keeping it simple and peppering him in the face.
Yeah, he's coming out to take that head off. He's gonna have to be careful. He's gonna have to pick his shots here.
Beautiful work right now, though, from the range so far from Gustafsson, using his character as he's supposed to. And Lepo currently just trying to find his range. He knows he's landed some good shots, but at the same time, he's getting caught with them long winded hooks, them long overhands and the teeps to the body, and he's just offsetting his rhythm, not able to get going with the combinations he needs to, and that's the reason he's tentative at the moment, Cyrus.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I think the fact that he is fighting on the offbeat is giving him a lot of success, but Lepo is now utilizing that jab, Dale, and the more he does that, the more success he's likely to find, along with checking some of those leg kicks, brother, because they're adding up nice and quickly.
Oh, catches him.
I love the attempt on the combination, but I mean, Toasty Toes is seeing that triple uppercut coming a mile off there.
Yeah, Toasty finding more success from the outside with a little bit of a range to it. Nice takedown.
Beautiful work now in half guard. He's going to try and do some damage right here, or is he going to try and control his opponent there, Dale? What aspect would you be looking for from Gustafsson as he postures up right now?
I think this is what he's going to look for. He's going to look for damage. He's going to posture up. He's going to try to block. He's going to posture up as much as he can. He's going to land out damage as much as he can right here.
I was speaking about LFC Lepo's ground game going into this bout, but TMF Toasty Toes already showing that he is seasoned on the ground, getting a double deny off on the ground and pound continues. Honestly, this is phenomenal work from Toasty Toes. He's really, really putting it together against, like I said, a gnarly veteran out here, Humble. Lepo's no slouch, bro. He is no slouch.
100%, and coming in with a name like Toasty Toes, this is anything but Toasty at the moment. That is a trick question right there, as he lands some terminal damage going forward onto Gokhan Saki's face right now. But it is the correct thing to do. Take the grappler to the ground, take away his arsenal and his tools. You know where he's going to be bad, and try and beat up your opponent with that length on the floor, Dale.
He's going to have to be careful with stamina right here, but he's getting some amazing blocks on the ground, not letting him up at all, not letting him transition. That was some great stand-up and great groundwork by Toasty.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from that man. He obviously had a big moment go against him when Lepo was able to catch him with that uppercut. Obviously got him rocked, and he was able to pour on some pressure at that stage, but all-round Toasty Toes seemed to have the answer for a lot of the things that Lepo was trying to put in his face, but we've seen it time and time again. It's all about the adjustments that you make. You can have a strong first round and lose the second and third, so they need to be all business heading into the latter rounds here, Humble, and that was exactly what we just saw with the defense of Lepo nice and early.
No touching gloves as well. I like that from Lepo. He's coming out meaning business. He's like, nah, I'm not going to fake glove touch you, but I'm just getting in your face straight away and let's go. Also went for a takedown and a clinch right there. That shows me a bit of... he's a bit mad with the first round, how it went. He probably doesn't like how his opponent's playing at the moment. So Toasty Toes could really come out there and kind of utilize that. As he gets caught right now, this could be it.
Absolutely lovely work, Dale.
Lepo having that great success when they're in tight in that phone booth. That's where Lepo's having the success in the striking.
Yeah,
100%.
When he's able to get going, Lepo was getting some great combinations off him. But once again, a level change was available for Toasty Toes. Finds himself now in the half guard position. The denials are so on point from this man. He is really, really educated on the ground. I don't take anything back I said about Lepo. He's fantastic on the mat as well, but quite clearly is just being outmatched with the pick with Gustafsson. Obviously, Saki just isn't very, very suited to these grappling exchanges, right, Humble? And it's going to be really, really difficult to survive these sort of exchanges.
Oh my days, yeah, he's getting traumatized at the moment on the floor. This is absolute brutality right now from Toasty as he goes for the big shot. He's going to try and finish his opponent, and that's it. Toasty gets the finish in the second round over a dangerous opponent in Lepo.
Ref, come on, stop the fight, ref, come on.
No respect, I don't believe that. Yeah, that was a grudge match down the line there. I love to see it. A bit of controversy going forward. This is what gets the numbers. These sort of rivalries going forward. Do this before the fight.
Yeah, no,
No
these
respect?
guys, bro. These guys, I respect them both very, very highly. They are clearly heading for a rematch at some point in the future. Quite clearly, a bit of bad blood has boiled over after that bout. But Toasty chose, made the necessary adjustments, Dale, and was able to get that victory from some educated ground and pound in that bout, along with some perfect denials.
Who said no respect after that fight?
I think it was Lepo. I think it was Lepo, bro.
Uh, Lepo got humbled right there, but I know Lepo was going to be back. I know that was a pretty tough loss to take. Lepo had a great game. Lepo had a lot of great success in tight, but once he got taken down and all those denials and ground and pound happened, it was all toasty.
100%, and 71% of people who picked Toasty Toes to win that one are going to be happy going forward. But saying that, Cyrus, we're going to get into our next fight, which looks like it's going to be TMF Ginga versus Broom Stick. What a fight this is. This was one of the ones that you highlighted out, Cyrus. Tell us a bit about this one.
Yeah, I believe there was actually a change up on the cards, but we do have Broomstick still on there, but we have Mexican Mush now stepping across from him. As I said, these cards are always subject to change, and we've had a gentleman step in on short notice. I have Mexican Mush down as Grains on my note here, so unless I'm wrong, but no, if that's the case, Grains, a little bit of a controversial character in the Discord, likes to talk a little bit of shit here and there, but my god, can he deliver when it comes to fighting in the cage. Often able to put together some crazy sequence of strikes that often finds his opponents a little bit bemused. But Broomstick, on the reverse of it, Humble, the advancements that this guy's made in his game to go from being, kind of on a losing streak to fighting all of his way to a title that he recently had up against Fadinator, where he held his own for a decent part. Really, really speaks to the development that is possible when you really commit to trying to, develop your skills as a whole.
Yeah, 100%, and that's the thing, right? It's not about the first couple of losses that you take or anything else. About your development and how you're supposed to learn. The best players in this community deal with losses the best. That's the way a mind works that needs to develop, and just in general in life as well, but mainly on this game. If you can understand how to learn from a loss, then it's invaluable when you lose, because when you do lose, you're only going to get better. It's not going to set you back, and that's exactly what Broomstick did. He didn't let him set him back. He pushed forward and got that title shot. Got beat against a great opponent like Fadinator, but guess what? He'll try and do the same thing again. Overcome it, and then eventually go back with more information about fighting the champion. So that experience is only going to help him going forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. And just to add on to that point very, very briefly and speak about Trixie, the challenger for tonight's belt, that's exactly what happened to him when he went on his 20-fight killing spree. Is just that he lost his very, very first fight that he had in Primetime MMA on UFC 4. It was actually, I believe, maybe even his first day on the game. He just strapped up and went to fight, got matched up against a dangerous, honest Jim who was able to get the victory, but he turned that loss into a 20-fight win streak. He became known as the pound-for-pound GOAT currently, until somebody can match that record, by learning from that loss and putting together, an absolutely phenomenal sequence of victories. And that's exactly, as you mentioned, what makes a next level player and really, really allows you to level up your overall game. But with all of that being said, Dale, we're now going to get into this one, brother. It is going to be Broomsticks up against Mexican Mush, aka Grains. It has been confirmed in the background. I cannot wait to see these guys throw down. I expect a lot of action from the get-go, especially if they do stick with these picks of Robert Whittaker. Obviously, there's just a lot of options available, but mostly the hands with those sneaky kicks, are very, very dangerous, brother.
Sorry, I thought that Ginger was coming up next against somebody else.
Replacement happened last minute, just last minute. Grains just jumped in, and Grains.
My apologies, Grains.
Grains, sir, that is correct. Mexican Mush is aka Grains, stepping in on short notice to replace TMF's Ginger, up against Broomstick. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic fight out there, Dale. Obviously, a bit of a shame that we don't get to see your campmate, but Grains is a worthy step in for that match as they go into the mirror match.
Grains extremely tough, and Broomstick, no stranger to the field, right? He's been here a few times. He knows what's going on.
These two coming out firing, and yeah, the Broomstick's the one that got something to lose right now because he's currently sitting at number 9 in the Xbox Division rankings at 4-3, and Grain's coming through with a 2-1 record. He did go 2-0, but lost his last fight to Haroon, who we'll see later on tonight. But yeah, so Grain's just got an opportunity right now, go 3-1, push himself through a ranked opponent, and that's Broomstick's got to defend that spot.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And he's fighting like he's the, like he's the veteran here. He's taking charge of this bout early. Dale seems to be making Mexican Mush feel his pressure, and the combinations are starting to really, really fly from both competitors.
And that's what he's got to do. He's got to, being the veteran, he's got to put that work on him. You got to make him think.
These are some good answers back from Grain's Humble. He's really trying to answer back with some big combinations, but the pressure is just non-stop from Broomstick at this stage.
It is, but if Grains can land some of them shots and he's starting to get his timing with them, them shots can be devastating right there. Exactly what I was saying. He lands a big left hook, and he's going to try and throw some big ground and pound right to try and finish his opponent, and the finish is important. He does.
That all came from that little slip. That head movement was so beneficial right there and helping him get that rock and jumping on him.
Oh my god, I wish we could do the Dan Hardy thing and kind of look back into about the first exchange that Grains threw in that fight, because when Grains was backing up, and he was backing up quite a bit, he was getting caught with a lot of shots in his block, but then he pushed forward, threw some feints at his opponent, and then slipped it, countered, and landed a small combination, which give him the confidence later on in that round, about 20 seconds later, to do the exact same thing, but commit to another combination on the end of that to land. So he set it up beautifully just 20 seconds before that little shot he had right there, and it was absolutely devastating when he threw it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been making adjustments to that uppercut off the body block. We've seen, the likes of Killer Jake do it. I've recently experienced it from the likes of Chinsworth and so on, but just excellent, perfectly executed here this evening, and a way to take a fight at short notice and really, really elevate your game out here, Dale. He was fighting up, taking this fight at short notice, fighting a ranked opponent, and picking up a big W. That's a pretty big feather in his cap now, and really, really does kind of put him into the limelight going forward in terms of matchmaking and, of course, rankings.
That's a big W. Congratulations, and what a great performance. Good job, Grains.
100%, and well done to Broomstick as well, taking up fighting short notice. You got to understand that sometimes these competitors that are fighting in prime time, they'll know their opponents, they'll study, they'll train against their training partners who are in there to mimic the styles of the guys they're fighting. And when they get a last minute change, it can throw you off your game sometimes. And sometimes people still take fights against really tough opponents, like Grains coming through there to get it, and that's exactly what Broomstick did. And it was at his peril in the end of it, but Broomstick can go away with his head held high. You can come back stronger as we move on to one of the people that has actually beat the guy that just won the previous fight in Grains, and he beat him last time they played. Haroon versus EKJK. This is one I'm very, very excited for. These guys are no stranger to the prime time scene, Cyrus, and this is going to be a slick fight.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Obviously, as you see, you have Haroon stepping up, a controversial figure as of recent times, kind of given himself a bad rep within the community, but tends to turn up and fight, every single time that he can. And if he's able to continue to do that and, try to put the work together, then he may have a lot of success, obviously, if he's able to kind of keep himself under control in the wider community. But this is going to be a tough test for him, right, Humble? EKJK is a dangerous man from a very, very dangerous camp, has a phenomenal ground game, and has recently shown big developments in his game in terms of the striking as well.
100%, and both these guys coming in with a record of 3-1. So this is the records are even here, but EKJK must have beaten some of the higher ranked opponents going forward, because currently he's sitting ranked at number 11 while Haroon is not ranked. But this is definitely going to be a very interesting matchup to watch as we go forward, Dale.
Both guys extremely tough competitors. Both extremely tough. Jakey from the EK camp and Haroon's been doing his thing. That's why he's here in the main event. Not the main event, but the main card. Both guys been doing a lot of really great things in the community. Haroon not so much with the trash talk and stuff, but there's a channel for that. Everybody knows, and that's where he's going to be from now on.
Yeah, and
I love it. I love it.
Especially between these two guys, right? there is a lot of bad blood between EK Jakey and Haroon. I anticipate fireworks in this one. I think there's going to be some soreness on whoever doesn't get their hand raised ultimately in this bout. They're both going with striking picks, so it looks like they're trying to kind of really, really upstage each other, I would imagine, going into this bout. We don't often see EK Jakey go somebody like Dustin Poirier. There's normally a little bit more of a wrestling offensive availability from his picks.
100%. And go back to the point that you just made about the bad blood between these two. I have the pleasure of being able to check over some of these fight chats. Now, sometimes I do just to see what they're saying to each other, what's going on. And these two were not shy of words to each other, giving each other insults backwards and forwards. How are you going to have to play against me to win? I absolutely love it. And these two making no hesitation to throw down in the center of the octagon at the moment, Dale.
Absolutely nothing wrong with a grudge match, and they're coming out like they have a grudge against each other. Both guys back and forth. Somebody wants somebody's head on this fight.
Yeah, the slips are perfect. The countering is absolutely excellent. As I said, recent adjustments in EK Jakey's striking is really, really being put on display here this evening. Excellent movement to get out of the way of that spin kick, entering back with a couple of nice combinations. But Haroon seems to be sticking to that game plan out here, Humble, and that may get him caught, or it may allow him to land some of those big power lefts.
Yeah, both of these guys are kind of going backwards and forwards with shots at the moment and slips and counters, both of them making adjustments, and you're going to see that more as you move forward in the card, making adjustments on the fly to each of the style. As your opponent lands, you realize you've got to stop that one and make an adjustment to that one immediately, and that's exactly what Jakey was doing, and Haroon is starting to do the same. This is a fight of anything can happen as he lands that big left hook straight right there, and that's what he's going to avoid, them power shots from Conor McGregor.
Haroon really working the body and head on Poirier, but you really have to watch out for that Poirier return. If he lands that uppercut when he's going for that body shot, you have to be so much careful. What a great fight so far by both guys.
Yeah, it's great.
I am loving what I am seeing from both of these guys. A lovely spin to the body.
And Haroon's first blood landed right there, and you can tell he's the villain because he's picked that Conor McGregor pick, but he's got to be careful of EK Jakey kind of getting away from that one. But this is what you want, a bit of a character in the community. I know he can be controversial, but going forward, if he can keep pulling out performances like he's doing so far and put away Jakey, he's only going to get popularity, he's going to rise, or more people want to see him lose. It's simple as that, Cyrus.
Yeah, it definitely is, brother, definitely is. I have to say, though, EK Jakey's making some fantastic adjustments. The head movement has saved him time and time again. Sets up that slip into the straight, Dale, and he is pouring on the pressure. This is when EK Jakey is at his finest.
And a big takedown after that rock. This is where Haroon has to be careful.
Nice work there. Gets the denial on the pass to side control, and now he's built up his grappling advantage. Haroon doing a great job, showing he's no slouch himself on the ground, even though if he's got the weaker grappler in the Conor McGregor pick, but only 26 seconds to work and less now for him to do some damage, Cyrus.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing. I mean, this is where his bread has been buttered throughout the majority of his UFC 4 career in terms of the competitive landscape. But as Doctor Who, the Damian Maya main shout out from the man in the back that has been putting this event together with obviously the other guys, but he just pointed out that he has turned into a striker, as I was alluding to, but he beat Killer Jake on the feet in his last outing, and that's got to give him an absolute massive boost in confidence as we see him trying to land these combinations to close out the show. But Haroon just about hanging in there, Dale.
That big rock, and he has lots of time to work in this second round now.
Haroon, though, knowing exactly what he wants to do. It doesn't matter if you beat Killer Jake in your last fight. You shouldn't be going into a position where you're pulling your opponent to give him advantage and way so dangerous. Like right there, you're seeing Jakey now getting pressured back. Veteran strikers like Haroon are always going to rise to the top because the cream always rises to the top, and that's exactly what's happening. For me, he's got to get back to his grappling, Dale.
That body work from Haroon is paying off so large. You can see the stamina difference going into this.
I actually think that's potentially why he isn't going heavy on the grappling, just to more to your point from a moment ago there, Humble. That body work from Haroon is definitely trying to start to add up over the course of these 2 rounds. And now the head kick!
Is that a head kick?
Beautiful combination. He's going to press it back. He needs to dodge the next shot. Haroon does a great job of kind of baiting the uppercut right there. Catches him with a left hook. Dale, he's going to get a chance to finish him right now.
So much pressure now getting put on.
Yeah, if he's able to get Jakey out in the second round, 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, that will be a massive feather in his cap, especially after a tough opening round. But we're seeing EK Jakey now compose himself, Humble, and looks to be answering back, although that head health is a little bit suspect, my man.
This is like a mini main event for me at the moment. Both these guys, it means so much to them. As Haroon just caught him with a pullback elbow, and Jakey's now got some adversity of his own. Can he get back to his feet, or is he going to try and grapple with his opponent as he moves to the back, Dale?
Those pullbacks are so dangerous. At this time, I think he just wants to control him right here. He wants to do as much damage as he can.
Gets back to his feet.
Right back up to the feet.
Brother, the damage is so heavy on Conor McGregor right now, but he continues to find the mark for the body.
Oh, he gets caught.
Oh my fuck! What is going on?
These guys are putting it out there.
Everything into that.
And he realizes now that the stamina is starting to get low for McGregor too. Like, at this point of the fight, you've got to, if you're Jakey right now, you're going to try and bait Conor McGregor to throw some shots and overcommit, because that's your chance right there to kind of hurt him when his stamina is low. As he gets dropped with the left straight right there, he's going to try and finish the fight. Gets flipped.
Nice reversal.
Only 17 seconds left on the clock.
Time for some big ground and pound right here.
The defense did manage to stand up for Haroon. The stamina deficit for EK Jakey really becoming a problem to the latter end of that second round. Obviously, the third is still scheduled ahead of us there, Humble. The stamina, we'll have to see how it recovered, but it's not in a good position for Jakey. He needs something big to land and, really start to build some momentum. Maybe that takedown you were calling for.
Yeah, definitely, and you've got to be impressed with Haroon at the moment, especially his ground game as well. He seems to have the more dominant positions as he lands a big shot in the body. He gets caught with a nush. Oh, he's going to push him back right now. He's got a chance to finish him. He's going to go. Oh, he's got it on the ground. Holy shit,
it's happened again!
These guys are going crazy on...
Those reversals are saving him so much. Both guys from the ground and pound. Both guys surviving that ground and pound so well.
100%. You've got to think as well as these two with such a grudge match going forward. You've got to think that you've got to gain respect for your opponent. It doesn't matter how much you don't like them. As soon as you're going through that and they're catching you and you think you've got the fight won and then they catch you again and it goes backwards and forwards, you've got to think that respect has now got to be shown from both guys.
Oh wow. He puts him out right
that time.
I have to say, whether you respect him as a person or a fighter, this man quite clearly has the ability to put on a beating in the cage. A dangerous opening from EK Jakey. He quite clearly showed that his striking has really leveled up, but potentially missed the trick, like you mentioned there, Humble, not going for the takedown. And, taking Conor McGregor into some deeper waters, utilizing some of those tools that, or some of those areas that Dustin, kind of has an advantage in.
Yeah, 100%. And it just came to a point in that fight where Haroon felt comfortable. He dealt with the initial takedown. Felt like he got the denial early, started using the grapple advantage really well, realized that he was very patient on the ground, even using Conor, and that EK Jakey couldn't really control him there. And as soon as he got back to his feet, started going to the body, made that stamina start to disappear, and then took over the fight from there. But I'd like to get someone back in that chat just to completely separate them two, because if they go back in the same locker room, I guarantee this is not over.
It definitely isn't over, brother. Definitely isn't over. I can imagine that there are some words being spoken at the moment. Hopefully some words of subtle respect, but I don't anticipate that to be the case. I imagine that EK Jakey's going to want to try and get that one back in the near future. However, that does now take us on to the next fight in the main card. That is going to be FSK Optics up against his fellow campmate in FSK Keza, I have to just say that these two competitors have really shown to be such dangerous strikers. I mean, there's not much more that can be said other than they are absolute dynamite with the hands. I cannot wait to see how they match up against each other, in a dangerous spot. A little bit of information for you there, Humble, just to chuck it to you very briefly. Kessler 30-12 on optics. Obviously, these guys training partners of each other. However, we've said it time and time again, those bright lights often change the situation, and training can't often be the the best sign of who's going to be able to get the victory here tonight.
100%, and the betting line is now open if anyone wants to bet on these two. But like you said, if Kez has won the majority of that, it usually shows you who has someone's number, But I love it when we get these campmates fighting because they know each other. The techniques that work and don't work against your opponent, and it's going to be a great fight because you've got these guys coming in at 7 for optics in the rankings for the Xbox and 6 for Keza in the Xbox rankings, and both of them have got a record of 5 and 3. So that one of these guys is going to get a huge win and a huge boost going forward. So you got to think it's still a positive for FSK having as many guys as they do in the top 10 currently in the Xbox rankings.
Yes, sir. Well, without further ado, we are going to get into it. This one is in the bantamweight division. Friendly picks appear to be on the cards between these two campmates. Song Yadong up against Thomas Almeida. Both guys have fantastic striking. Song Yadong, of course, has incredible power in those hands, Dale. Really has, the dynamite to put out the lights in this lighter weight class. But Thomas Almeida has the kick, so it can really go either way on the feet in this one.
I've honestly never seen anybody use Song Yadong in PrimeTime yet. Yeah.
Not in PrimeTime, no. I've never seen it.
Like you say, I think it's mainly because they're campmates. They came to an unofficial agreement, and I'm all for it. In all honesty, the lower picks, as we've said time and time again, they bring out some of the more entertaining bouts, right?
They're no slouches. These lower picks.
Oh, as expected, starting out quickly.
Look at the speed.
The one thing to keep in mind is that both guys are first-round fighters by a long shot. They really do like to pour on the pressure early. I don't anticipate that this one's going to go into the later rounds. You can already see the pace they are setting out, Humble, is absolutely second to none. Pushing the pressure and letting those combinations flow.
Yeah, 100%. And Almeida a bit more of a Muay Thai striker. Obviously, you remember him fighting the likes of Cody Garbrandt and getting beat recently, Sean O'Malley as well. And Song Yadong, only 24 fucking years of age. Had about 12 fights in the octagon already at that age and training out that team Alpha Male style, knows how to wrestle, but really all of the power comes from his hands, and that's exactly what he's trying to do, pull back, counter his opponent, and these two are going at it at the moment, Dale.
There's some great head work, great head movement.
Oh, body shot,
guys, right now. But you put that head movement, if you catch something at the wrong spot, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. You're exactly right, brother. That body shot was caught as he was moving his head. A lot of fantastic head movement on display, but that does open you up to some big damaging shots. They're both variating their shots so well and countering each other's, kind of overextensions perfectly Humble. The damage is already starting to mount up on both competitors.
Yeah, and what I've seen so far is that Keza knows the type of movements and the ways that Song Yadong and Optics is going to be going when he actually finishes his combo, and he's doing a great job of landing some major and damaging shots as he finishes his combo, just to say he's something back. As I say, the Optics presses him against the octagon, tries to chase him across Dale.
And after that, Rocky came in hard. He's looking to take this guy's head off right now. He wants this finished.
Yeah, he is doing an excellent job of it. Anytime Almeida goes to kick, especially in the wrong positions, because they're often fighting in the phone booth, those combinations come out of absolutely left park. But look at that, just a double pulse, both guys countering each other's counters, neither one able to eventually land. High level striking is being on display from these two FSK, teammates. Sorry, lost my words.
No problem, he's chasing him back right there. Beautiful shot that he landed to catch him, and this is going backwards and forwards right now. I'm liking how Optics is starting to use a bit more of the lead and boxing on the front foot, but every time he goes backwards and Keza can kind of get his time and he lands a big shot just like he did right there, Dil.
Both guys coming out swinging wildly. Somebody's going to go down in this next round, if not at the end of this round.
I am
There's a
loving what I'm
It's
seeing.
another big uppercut and a big drop.
He's going to try and finish him right now against the fence Cyrus. Big shot to the body. 3 seconds left of this round. What a fight.
Yeah, I was not anticipating this one going into the second, and it, on many of occasions, almost did not. We do see this second round, but not for the lack of trying. Both guys really turning up the pace from the opening bell to the closing one. We now hit the second one, and I expect much of the same, Dale. They're not going to let up this action. They expect one of them to go out on their shield one way or another.
Oh,
beautiful. Neither guy is gonna let up. Neither guy is gonna let up in this round.
Oh!
Catches him with a big shot right there. Tries to finish off with a head kick. Drops him against the fence. Obviously going to let him back up as teammates. And what I'm noticing so far is a big elbow coming through. As he gets
elbow by his dog.
What is going on?
Only if he could jump right there. He might have had a chance to finish his opponent, but these two want a clean finish. Big shots in the center, Dale. This has been an incredible fight, but I'd like to see Optics again take that center of the octagon and counter Almeida as he's coming forward rather than trying to carry him on the back foot.
Yeah.
It's so hard to read what both guys
Oh, there it is.
They're just coming out hard.
Oh, and he's going for the finish.
Oh, this is going to be tasty if this... Oh, my days.
The Nigel army continues. Big Optics gets his W. Hand raised up against the dangerous Keza, who has shown time and time again to have the answer for most of his opponents. But the kid Prodigy is stepping up once again, Humble, and this kid seems to really have a bright future ahead of him, especially if he continues to put on performances like that. Obviously a little bit more of a friendly approach, but nevertheless the striking was on full display from both of them.
Yeah, it was 100%, but we gotta dig into that a little. We can't ignore it. It was he jumped on his teammate after his teammate didn't jump on him. I am not gonna beat around the bush right here. If that wasn't an agreement, you know they're going back to the locker room. There's some pushing and shoving going on right there. There's gonna be some discussions going in the FSK camp. and what you've got to take in mind right now is while all that's going on, the champion is sat there ready, preparing for his fight. So, you know, I like a bit of the drama as we move on to the next fight, but is that going to affect Fadinir anyway in the main event of this evening?
The one thing I will say is I don't know if this is something that they noticed, if this maybe played a factor, but just to play the devil's advocate on the young kid's side of Optics, they were in a 5-round fight, so I think that maybe they noticed it and they were like, okay, we have to jump. I was now obviously up next. We are going to be having two competitors that well, quite candidly, I cannot wait to see. It's going to be LW Kobe up against A55 Spooky G. We were calling this fight out from the very beginning. There's a reason. It's the co-main event of the evening. The PlayStation, I'm going to throw this to you first there, Humble, as you're the resident PlayStation player. I expect big things from these two.
100%, and when you go look at what Spooky's done so far, after his first loss, which... If you take a look at his first loss, it was against Skitch, who we've seen earlier on, and he was dominating that fight with a Khabib. He is one of the best grapplers in the world. I've seen him do this to the likes of Gamer Neko. I've seen him do this to the likes of Rehan. I've seen him do this to nearly every person he's played. But the main thing for A55 Spooky is inconsistency. Sometimes he gets a bit bored of trying to take you down and do it, try and strike with you. But that's where he's amazing. If he gets you inside control, he is an absolute nightmare. And on the other hand, we have Kobe, who's coming into this with a 4-2 record. He's coming from a great camp, and he's going to be going with the Marvin Vittori pick. So it's the Robert Whittaker pick. So, you know, that's a very difficult choice to take down. If you can block a few takedowns, you can land some damage, and that could sway the fight in your favor, Dale.
Oh, so many things can sway this fight. Both guys have the opportunity to take this fight out.
Yeah, I expect big things. Kobe has fantastic hands, and I hear from what you're saying there, Humble, that Spooky G is going to be an absolute savage on the ground if he decides to implement that sort of game plan. Slight correction, okay, Optics is not Nigel Army, they are brothers. I apologize for the confusion, don't slow at me in the chat. They continue on though, guys. This is very nice work from Spooky G. He mixed in that lunging jab very quickly, Humble, and mixed it into a single leg, and that's the types of mix-ups that are going to give somebody like Kobe's a little bit of problem and allow him to maybe approach this grappling like you were alluding to.
Yeah, like you said at the start, I think you said you think Spooky G might go for some grappling. I'm telling you, he is going to go for some grappling. Spooky G is the type of person who will never let up on the grappling, even when you think, oh, he's striking me well as well here. Now he'll put you back on the mat and he'll continue to frustrate, just like he does right there with the denials. This guy's a master at exactly what to do, and he also reads patterns really well. He used to tell me if I was going, you went 14 times left and you went 4 times right, and I'd be like, what? And used to tell me all of my patterns that I used to do before. So this is what he'll be doing right now as he's trying to move around his opponent, Dill.
The guys that read those patterns are very dangerous. I know a couple guys like that. Valentine, very good at reading patterns. And the same kind of thing. Sparring with him, you did this, you did that. Those kind of guys are dangerous.
Yeah, they're obviously able to make adaptations based on what you're throwing, and that's what this game's all about, making those reads, making those adjustments. Excellent entry on the takedown, almost gets caught with a knee, tried to be timed from Kobe's, but once again, Marvin Vettori finds himself in in half guard here. There, Humble, and he's working a nice game plan so far that's kind of grinding out Kobe's, although that stamina could become problematic due to this sort of workload. He's putting up a very, very high pace with this grappling.
Yeah, 100%. The main areas I'm looking at and I'm concentrating on when this is happening is when it goes back to the feet for a brief time. Can Kobe land some offense? At the moment, the answer is no. As Spooky G gets into his favorite position in UFC, is that side control position as he fakes the sprawl and then gets it. Beautiful work from Spooky G. He's going to go for the elbows right now.
Some guys have a lot better understanding of the intricacies of this game. There are levels, and this is showing some really good groundwork.
100%. He's one of the people that taught me that actually when you go for a crucifix on somebody, there's actually a reversal where you flip someone over. And I never knew that existed in the game for about a year until he told me about it. He's that type of person. He knows every single trick, the stamina that you need. And they get back to the feet, though, and this is really important for Kobe so far, Cyrus.
Yeah, and he's looking good stamina-wise. This is obviously where Kobe's has often got the better of his opponents. His striking is really, really up there. He times everything very well, but gets caught with a pullback lead elbow. Spooky G doing a fantastic job of keeping Kobe's honest, Dale, in the realm that he's clearly going to feel like he has the advantage.
Those pullbacks are so dangerous. Yeah. So dangerous.
Watching this fight so far, Dale, like, the one thing I'm waiting for from Spooky G is him getting kind of overconfident with the striking and not constantly trying to take his opponent down and becoming a problem. And that's when he kind of sometimes loses fights, losing that concentration and forgetting what he's the best at. So we'll get to see if he can do that and Kobe can actually change the game plan going forward, Dale.
You have to buckle down. You have to buckle down and know what you want to do and stay in your game. Stay in your game. Don't try to get sucked into anybody else's game.
Oh!
The game that you want it. Beautiful takedown.
Yeah, Kobe's mixing it up. He decided that the takedown offense from Spooky G was becoming problematic. Decided that he wanted to display some of his grappling chops in itself. We'll see if that goes in his favor, Humble. So far, so good, although a good job of retaining guard, which is probably why he decided to stand back up.
Yeah, 100%. He's still as good off his back as well, so you got to be careful. But beautiful little suplex right there, coming out of the curtain angle playbook as he throws a few more combinations. Spooky G now is kind of getting red, as I thought he was going to. Nice Kobe, exactly, the denial, and that's really important for Kobe. Spooky G's going to have to set that up a bit better, Dill.
Oh, that was a beautiful denial. He wants it to the ground. It's so frustrating when you want it somewhere and you can't take it there.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
Mate, this is a guy after my own heart. I ain't gonna lie to you. Mixing in those lunging strikes are absolutely beautiful. The takedowns are there and available for him. Stamina definitely becoming a problem for him, Dale, but he is having a lot of success, and he may be able to close out the show before that becomes, a serious problem for him.
That's what he's going to have to work on. He's going to have to work on more damage versus less stamina. If he comes into this third round with a stamina disadvantage that he can't come back from, it's going to be an issue.
I'm sure that Marvin Vettori, though, has a great recovery in rounds. I'm sure he has a perk that lets him go better after the two, but great reversal right there for Rob Whittaker. Now he's on top in full mount. Can he do some damage right here? Doesn't get the denial. He's going to try and posture up maybe from half guard.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of the stamina, especially some of the closer stamina deficits like this one, it's where it can play the biggest factors in the grappling. It allows you to build that GA just a little bit more, I do believe, and of course just gives you an advantage stamina-wise in being able to block transitions, period. Continuing to work these short shots, though, is important, Dale. Allows you to get denials just like that off and, be a lot more defensive, shutting your opponent down from being able to get anything major off.
You have to work on the ground, whether it be for GA advantage or anything. You have to make your opponent think that something's coming.
100%. And this could be, if Spooky manages to pull this off, this could be a massive upset, as Kobe is currently number 4 in the PlayStation division with a 4-2 record, and Spooky unranked at 3-1 at the moment, but going 4-1 could
Not that denial.
Beautiful work. Gets back to his feet right now. But yeah, what I was saying there, he could absolutely upset it and fire himself right into the rankings there, Cyrus.
Yeah, and once again, if he was able to beat a number ranked 4 opponent, that catapults him up into those rankings and puts him in, kind of the short list of people who could potentially be challenging for the title in the future. This fight has been an interesting one. I think that both guys having moments of success, but I am impressed by the way that Spooky G is approaching this. I just need to see if he's going to be able to sustain this 3rd round with that sort of output. Looks like the recovery might have been enough, Dale.
Oh, gets caught with a straight though.
There's a little bit of recovery there for Spooky G, but still he has that stamina disadvantage. Not that it's a major disadvantage right now, but it could come into play if Whitaker can land a couple of big shots.
Yeah, I just
Spooky
don't...
G. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I just don't feel like he's letting Kobe's really get into any sort of rhythm, just mixing up those lunging strikes, interrupting his opponent, now stuffing the takedown, Humble. Spooky G does seem not to be, like you said, this sometimes he loses concentration. That doesn't seem to be a problem here this evening.
You say that as he gets back to the feet, though, and Kobe's going to try and pressure him right now. He does need this to the ground. He tried to use that fence to do so. But what I'm seeing right now is a big shot landed so far from Kobe as he's pressing the action. That's the biggest moment in this round so far. I felt like Spooky G was trying to get ahead, was what I was going to say, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, definitely. So he does manage to secure the takedown. There's 3 minutes 20 on the clock, but after that big Rockdale, this is where he needs to get really active. The question is, does he have the stamina to get the damage he needs to win this round back?
This is where he's had a lot of success, and I think a lot of these rounds with the ground control that he's had, he needs to keep this ground control without wearing out his stamina.
And this is where he can do it in that back mount position as he tries to fake taking his opponent down, but Kobe wise to it as he blocks it right there. Spooky G's going to get to work right now, though, and do some damage at the same time. Avoid getting anything he does. He gets him flattened out, Cyrus.
The turnover drains that stamina bar and sets up this armbar attempt from Marvin Vittori. His stamina is not in a massive spot, but there is an advantage. The tracing seems relatively well so far there, Humble, but the escape may be imminent as the defense of Kobe tends to hold up.
He's going to bail on this one right now. He's going to go for something else in a second, maybe the same move, but this time again, Kobe wise to it, blocks the 4-mount escape, and Spooky G needs to land some damage in the next 1 minute 30 seconds because Kobe does have a rock in this round, so in my opinion, Spooky needs to do at least some damage to kind of give the judges something to think about. Dill.
Both guys really laying all the stamina out on the ground right there.
Yeah.
Spooky really controlling the ground situation, and it's really nice to see that.
Yeah, quite clearly has the chops to get the job done on the mat. He's now putting together some nice shots. As alluded to by Humble prior to this fight, this man's grappling quite clearly is up there. The stamina is problematic, but he isn't giving up at any point here, Humble. He's pushing the pace. But the back is taken. That's the problem with the stamina. When it's so low, any shot opens you up to some sort of maneuver, reversal or get up.
10 seconds.
You nearly gets caught right there. I was going to say, this is such a close fight. I wouldn't be confident in either corner right now because that was such a close fight. These judges have got their work on their hands. I'm glad I'm not one of these judges on the panel. And we know how they act as well, Cyrus. Sometimes these judges can be completely correct, and sometimes they're absolutely on the vodka and cokes all night because they don't know what they're seeing. So it'll be interesting for which guy is going to come away with this one. But either way, great performance from both guys.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you. Somebody was saying fairly recently on the stream that You know, obviously the third round makes the biggest difference. But in this one, we see Robert Whittaker. Kobe's getting his hand raised. I would love to see the statistics before we close an end to this bout, if we get the opportunity to. Going to give them a couple of seconds. I have to say, Spooky G did very, very well, Dale. I was probably leaning in his favor to be winning that bout. I don't know how you scored it.
I kind of thought so too. I kind of thought with the ground control and the rocks, I thought
all about the damage,
majorly because of the ground control, but it would have been interesting to see those stats.
Yeah, the second round was very close, as we've seen. It could have went either way. The third round, you've got to think, even though that he did have the ground control, there was a rock in there, and damage weighs more than anything on this one. And as I've said before, the third round means more. There's been studies on it, trust me. The third round means more.
It was you. I knew somebody had said it, brother. I knew somebody had said it. We do get to see the stats. I've pulled it back for a second since they did pull it up. Obviously, it was a little bit delayed. 5 takedowns out of 7 for Spooky. 6 minutes 40 of top control, 83 significant total strikes to Kobe's 90, 32 significant strikes to Kobe's 24, a stun apiece. A very, very close round, but like you said, that third round quite clearly plays the biggest factor in this bout and many of the others, and thus that rock coming so late for Kobe's probably got him the job done there, Humble.
Yeah, I do believe so. Like, when I said it with 2 minutes left. I said he needs to do some damage from this position just because of the rock. If you've got that ground control, it doesn't mean anything. It just means you're controlling your opponent in the position of the fight. It doesn't mean you're actually doing any damage, and that's actually the scoring system for the UFC itself. It's all about the damage first. You're controlled in segments, the damage, and then it goes control. If they can't decide who's had more damage, it goes to the control part. Control isn't an automatic scoring system. It just means that you've put that person on their back. It doesn't mean that they still can't hurt you from there.
That's really good to know, actually.
Yeah, exactly, man. Humble always coming through with some sneaky facts in the back room. We'd heard it before, but once again, that point was accentuated this evening in that bout. Kobe is able to pick up a nice victory after a hard-fought fight against a dangerous man. I look forward to seeing Spooky G come back as well. However, guys, that does mean that we are here for the main event of the evening. We have current reigning undisputed champion in FSK, Fadinator, up against the previous dominant, potentially pound-for-pound GOAT at this stage with his 25 win streak in EK Trixie. These two guys are, quite honestly, absolute artists in the cage, Humble. I cannot wait to see what these guys are able to do when they match up against each other.
Yeah, 100%. And Fadinator, the champion, coming in at 6-0. And what I love about this fight is you've got a true champion versus a true #1 contender, because that's exactly what EK Trixie is. He's currently 4-1. He's built up all the way to #1, and now he deserves, and he's got his title shot. He's going to be wanting to snatch that belt from Fadinator and put an actual one on his record instead of Fadinator going to 7-0. This is going to be a great one, and from two great camps as well, with FSK and Elite Kings.
I couldn't agree more, Dale. We are going to get into this one. They are standing opposite each other, currently hovering over Robert Whittaker. I would not be surprised if that is the pick that they decide to go with, because let's be honest, he is the pick in this weight class. He's so dangerous no matter where you want to take the fight that it would be almost silly in this title fight to not allow yourself every opportunity to win this bout.
I would love to see a mirror match between these two guys.
I think we're about to, man. I think we're about to, Humble.
Yeah, not always my favorite. I do like the mental warfare and the game of trying to figure out another character. I think it's more satisfying for myself. But mirror match, like you said, you've got all of the skills matching each other, so you get to see who the true competitor is. But you've got to be worried for them 75% of people in the chat who pick Fadinator to win this one. When you see a 1-5 record for Trixie, I know it doesn't mean anything going into this one, but
75%.
Yep, that's how many people picked Fadinator in the betting lines.
Yeah, I mean, he has been a popular champion. Fadinator has a lot of support from within the community, and it comes largely in part due to his fan-friendly style, but much the same could be said about EK Trixie out here, Dale. This man has known to put on the pace on his opponents and often walks away with a victory in that second or third round. Tends to have a knack for finding the finish in those, between those minutes.
Fadinator, the champion for a reason. This guy has burned through so many huge competitors. Then Trixie, the competitor, we've seen what Trixie can do as well. Like you said, that big run, big undefeated streak. This is going to be so interesting to see what plays out.
And both guys landing some big combinations there so far. You're looking for Fadinator, he's putting on the pressure, landing certain combinations and knowing that they're going to get through, and then constantly looking for that slip counter. At the same time, EK Trixie, he's going in that body quite a bit so far, and he's waiting for something to come and miss for Fadinator so he can land a big shot himself. But this is a back and forth technical chess match at the moment, Cyrus.
Yeah, I don't know if either guy would agree with me, but I honestly think these guys fight very, very similarly. They make fantastic adjustments to their opponents. Their reads are out of this world, and as you see right now, they have such educated striking games working behind that jab that we were speaking about throughout this entire card, and many before it there, guys, that it just really sets up everything in their game. It allows them to continue to bring this action from the get-go. You've got to remember, this is a 5-round fight, and they are fighting, you know, with every sort of intention from the get-go of this round, leaving it all out there, Dale.
Such high-level competition right now, and look at the defense from both gentlemen. Both guys throwing big shots, but both the defense is really what's keeping these guys alive right now.
100%, and I'm starting to see some adjustments coming from Trixie as he goes to that lead leg kick, and you see him fighting there at the moment trying to catch Trixie as he's throwing the kick with a big punch combination. But this is a back and forth chess match, as we said earlier on, but Fadinator leading the dance at the moment, pressing his opponent back, and Trixie's got to get some space back, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is the thing. Fadinator has been a dominant champion, but this is definitely his toughest test to date. EK Trixie trying to regain that gold, and right now he is turning up the pace, Dale. He is starting to land some lovely combinations, and the champion needs to get on that bike, buy a little time, and look for his openings.
And once Trixie smells that blood, he can go anywhere. He can throw those clinches out. He can throw the ground game out. He's so dangerous everywhere.
Beautiful work. I just like how he through combinations while moving, and then just planted his feet in for a 4-piece. As he gets pelted to the leg right now, he's going to be hard to come back from that one. He's still got him pinned against the fence. Fadinator smells blood as he's trying to finish Trixie, and Trixie fires back with a 4-piece to end the round, Dale.
The combinations are on full display. The champion getting a big leg kick rock, more significant strikes and total towards the end of that first round. Apologies, but yeah, no, this is a very, very closely contended bout. Both guys have just absolutely incredible potential to win this bout, and Dale, I cannot wait to get into this second round, bro.
Thad really needed to get that little bit of a rock back on that leg just to bring himself back into the match, and he's back in now, folks.
Comes forward, and Fadinator trying to set the pace again. Trixie did have some success in that round, checks the leg kick right there needed. He did have some success planting his feet, and it's going to be interesting to see if he does that more as he's starting to catch fire a tiny bit more, but the leg's gone again, Cyrus.
Yeah, that leg is so compromised at this early stage of the bout. It's going to give the challenger all sorts of problems, but his head health, the head health damage stacking up for the champion is also becoming pretty problematic. Although that is a beautiful slip. He is on point. The champion is rising to the occasion. The challenge of EK Trixie. He is making his stake. Right there. Oh my god.
Oh, he gets him with the elbow. Oh my days.
Oh, Adam's really putting pressure against Trixie right there, and Trixie found a way to come back.
Not letting off on them combinations. He's starting to pull counter. He's starting to throw the hooks as well. That hook is catching Trixie as he comes forward, but the adjustments are coming through from Trixie. He's decided to use the clinch a bit more now. Both guys desperate for a win. They will not go down without a fight, and a fight they're giving us, Cyrus.
Oh, brother, this is exactly what is expected in the main event of Primetime MMA. The guarantee has lived up as he lands another rock. The champion trying to get the finish over EK Trixie. He just about survives for now, but my god, neither guy out of the woods, Dale. They are landing massive amounts of damage on each other second by second.
This is unreal, the amount of damage these guys are putting out and the strike output.
Oh my god, Trixie's completely dangerous as well. He's noticed that Fadinator is slipping off to the left-hand side. He's trying to catch him there, but going for the clinch. But you can see Fadinator has got Trixie backed up in the corner. He needs to be careful, but the champion again smells blood for the second time this evening as he pushing back. This is only the second round. I don't think it's going to go past this round as these two Duke and Nukem fight it out. It's a good old cowboy fashion showdown in the center of this octagon.
Yeah, just absolutely throwing down on a napkin. The front kick lands for the challenge, and the combination sits him down.
Trixie! Trixie's got him again, Trixie!
Got him again!
Oh
The
my
up kick
days!
of doom.
Fadinator's holding on. My days, this fight has been absolutely incredible. The champion is now in trouble as Trixie starts to smell blood. He's pressing the action, and Fadinator fires back.
Both the left leg of the challenger and the head is continuously flashing, as is the head of the champion. Either guy is going to end up face down on the canvas within seconds.
Takes that full mount right at the end of the round.
Saved by the bell is the champion. He has 60 seconds to recover. Humble, this is the pace of a title fight for the ages. Maybe trying to steal that fight of the year candidate right here, right now, my man.
This is one of the best fights I've ever seen from these two competitors. As look at the head, it's almost identical from the leg to the head health down. But Trixie started to find his moment there. He stayed in the fight, and that's what champions do. They make adjustments. He's pressing the action again as Fadinator's got to be careful. He's put out with the head kick right there.
Able to get in with that ground and pound now. Didn't take those up kicks.
Oh, he finished it!
And new EK Trixie regains the primetime gold over a fucking fantastic champion in FSK Fadinator. That man was a delight to have as a champion, and we know that he will be back. I cannot wait to see these two throw down once again. Honestly, the savagery on display here this evening there, Humble, was second to none, brother. As you said, the best fight I think I've ever seen.
It was just an incredible technical display. And it's just beautiful. I noticed it as soon as Trixie started to notice it, that Fadinator was slipping off to his left to land a counter when he could get Trixie to throw down the middle. And Trixie started to bait some different shots that came from the left, the lead hook. The right hand, and then he started to throw the spinning elbow after a duck to try and do it, and eventually he caught him, and when he caught him, he did not let him off the hook. He continued to put the pressure on. He made Trixie put his guard up for once, for Fadinator to put his guard up for once, and then finished the fight with some beautiful combinations, and the hands eventually got it done for him, Dale.
And Fad put out so much damage to that leg. Like, what an amazing fight by Fad. Put out so much damage. And then Trixie was able just to read and get a couple of checks and come back with some big, hard shots like Trixie does. We've seen him do this many times. What an amazing fight by both guys. Nobody is put out on that fight. Both guys are winners, in my opinion.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the rematch. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know if there's a rubber match intended or if anything down those lines. Fadinator had won a number of times as a champion, so maybe that's on the cards. But these guys are definitely going to they're definitely going to meet in the future once again, and I for one cannot wait to see it. That does, however, bring us to the end of this fantastic event. There are a couple of moments of housekeeping before we actually close out the show. Number one, if you haven't already, make sure to head across to our YouTube. Try and get the old guard that we have here this evening between myself, Humble, and Dale Denton. 105 likes, I think it is, for the age combined that we have between us. Get those likes on the YouTube. Make sure to hit the sub or the follow button on the respective platforms. We appreciate each and every one of you for the support here this evening and every single event. From myself, Humble, and Dale, we have loved calling these fights for you. Yes, go for it, brother.
Make sure you guys tune in on Monday because I'm fighting in the main event against LWAJ Bads, and I'm going to put on a hell of a performance. So make sure you tune in Monday because that's going to be a great event.
On that beautiful note, tune in Monday. We will see you right there. It has been a pleasure from us all. in the comms booth from the back in the community. We appreciate the raids, the likes, the follows. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks a lot.